All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to episode 260 of the KBMOD podcast. It is December 18th, 2016. The final podcast before Christmas is upon us. And
podcast before Christmas, you might say.
Yes, I guess. Yes.
Was the podcast before Christmas?
I feel like I should have prepared a rhyme of some kind now that you're pointing that out.
Yeah,
But
missed opportunity.
Was the
It really was.
cast before Christmas, and all through the chat,
Mm.
bits were flowing.
Some
And-
with a hat.
Some with a hat. Oh damn!
Okay.
Ours.
That's a
I got
good
you.
start.
Good
I like
start.
this.
Someone maybe can take that and run with it, maybe.
Yeah.
And but yeah, episode 260. It is, like I said, it's December 18th, and you know we've got the normal crew. We've got Brad, Katie, and of course Brandon and myself, and you know, wishing everybody good cheer. If you're listening to this, then it'll be, what is Tuesday? Tuesday's the 20th. So. Actually, you might not be listening to this on Tuesday. I just assumed when you'd be listening. I assume that when you download this you stop everything that you're doing when you see the podcast is in your feed, and you listen on that day. But wherever you're listening, if it's before or after Christmas, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you prefer. If you don't celebrate it at all, then don't worry about it. Then hope you're having a good day. I don't know. I really didn't know where I was going with that.
If you don't
But,
celebrate it, then just enjoy another week passing.
Exactly. Like as we get closer to the end of the year. But how are you guys doing? Any exciting developments in any of your lives? Katie's in. You know I'm going to ask it. What am I going to ask?
No, not this week.
Okay. All right.
Do you have a date to Christmas dinner lined up?
Yeah.
I
Anything?
don't.
Any hot cousin coming over or anything later? I'm just kidding. Oh, okay.
Can't say it's something I'd be partaking in,
Yeah.
but
No, that's fine.
maybe in like a southern portion of Indiana.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no,
Okay. So nothing.
no
too new.
luck. I'm definitely trying though.
That's good.
It's
Well, it's
just
also around the
one-
holiday season. People are like, it's busy. Like, I don't know, people. I know maybe some like those romantic comedies around Christmas, but I think realistically, people are busy. You know, dealing with family, and
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I
true.
don't know if as many
I feel
people are looking for
are
love.
people, are people really looking for like
Christmas.
first dates around Christmas time?
Yeah.
There's just too much
No.
going on.
Although there is a solid couple months before Valentine's Day, which
That's true.
I-
Yeah, you got to get a
or
head start.
month. I do.
But then again, yeah, if you have like, let's say you have like a first date right before Christmas, then you're kind of obligated to get them a Christmas present.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's,
too much.
that's always awkward when you don't know someone necessarily that well yet.
I don't know what you want.
I've got, speaking of that, I've got, so Christmas, and then my anniversary with my girlfriend is on the 27th, and then her birthday is January 28th. So I got a
Oh
lot
my
of,
goodness.
there's a lot of things
Wow.
really close to each other in the next
That's
month.
that's a lot of pressure. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. It's a lot. It's a lot. But, you know, I've already prefaced, you know, she knows who I am, so she doesn't ever, you know, look forward to too much. I try. I got some things up my sleeve, but it actually is. It's almost kind of nice though, having all those dates so close together, because it's also easy to remember. Not that every guy is as forgetful as me, but sometimes, you know, with dates I can be a little bit fuzzy. So it's easy to remember, and if they're all, you know, this close together, I would say that it's a little less pressure, because it's like, well, come on, realistically, there's like 3 big events. Like, you know, I guess maybe I just don't have a super demanding girlfriend either, so she's not expecting like me to like, here's a car and here's
You set expectations low enough going in
exactly
that
exactly. Like she knows what she's dealing with.
Yeah.
So, at this
Don't
point,
expect much.
yeah, you know, and then when
Look
you
at
do,
the
and then
follower
when you do
count.
something nice, a little surprising, you know, it's APL Fisher. How can you have things up your sleeve if you always wear short sleeve shirts? All right, not so. That's a fair point. That's a fair.
That was good.
Okay, well played. All right. So, what about you, Brad or Brandon? Anything exciting?
I mean,
in your
I
lives?
went to Las Vegas.
Yeah, play the tables.
Yeah. Yeah, just
Win anything?
No, absolutely not. But yeah, went just for like basically a day and a half, sort of. Managed to get back in time to host the cast. So you know that's how much I
There
care.
you go.
Flew back
That is-
from Vegas with a couple hours sleep, just to get back here and talk about video games.
I think I did see one of your one of your tweets where you were taking it. It was a picture of the sunrise in Vegas.
Yes, that happened.
I was like, Brandon's definitely having a good time.
Yeah,
I need to call up Brandon's Twitter. Every single tweet these days looks like it's being composed while he's got like a glass of wine and a full suit. Like, well, I suppose it's time for bed. And like one of the most expensive places to live in America. Just an ordinary night in Vegas. Crowd of people at a concert. What else?
That's true. Brandon really has curated.
And then on December 11th, there's just Denny's. What other kind of
December
bachelor?
11th, Denny's tweet.
Look, I mean, I think I try and portray a pretty accurate view of my life over my Twitter feed. You know, it's not curated the way that some people on their Facebook or their Instagram, they just post heavily edited pictures. They post them with like perfect makeup and all that. No, I have tweets where I've just tweeted pictures of hot pockets. Mm-hmm.
There's some rawness. Brandon has the rawness occasionally, not all the time.
Yeah, okay. This one says,
did you caption it sustenance? Or
This one is a picture of a fireplace. It says, this cold, rainy weather is perfect for turning on the fireplace and enjoying a glass of eggnog.
Yeah,
yeah.
I saw that. That one's pretty.
That's a real emotion I had at that point in time.
Yeah.
But
the day I see you share like a meme or something is when I unfollow.
Well, actually, I memed this week. I did a. I
was just gonna say.
I memed
all the Twitch announcements.
Yeah, we had so many Twitch announcements. I did I can't hold all these limes tweet, and I was actually, I was pretty happy with that one. It's an old that's an old meme, but it's a pretty good meme.
It's accurate for the situation, I think.
Yeah, it hits hard. I like that one.
Not a single not hard hitting meme on this Twitter.
But yeah, that's had a quick trip to Vegas. It was kind of nice. Get in a little crazy weekend before the holidays, and have a short week this week, and then relax for Christmas. But last night we did not relax. Gambling, saw Lesso at a club.
Cocaine. Oh wait, sorry. No, I was just fantasizing, doing lines off your butt. But how was Lesso? It
was really good.
I don't think I've actually ever seen Lesso for all the electronic shows I've been to in my life.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, I'm not really a clubbing type person. Like that's not my atmosphere. But it's a spectacle, right? And so that was fun. I don't. The crazy thing is that the thing I will never understand is that that's like what some people go to Vegas to do. Like literally, like just to dress up and go to a nightclub, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is really cool, but I just can't imagine that this is what people would like. You stand in line for hours or whatever, just to go and see a show like that. But yeah, I mean, it was great, good time.
That's good.
Cool.
I didn't lose that much money, so that was good.
Okay, but you didn't lose that much, but you weren't up. Well, we've already talked about your philosophy on this podcast many times where, when you go, you take a set amount of money and your fun in it is, if you win, that's nice. But if you don't, it's like, this is entertainment and I enjoy the process.
I don't go expecting to win. So I think I lost like a couple $100 and that's fine. Like we had a good time.
You had fun.
Yeah. Actually the most fun thing was, so when you're at the blackjack table, I don't think I've ever had a hand before where, hopefully people listening know roughly like how to play blackjack or like what the hands are. So when you get two aces, you always split your aces, right? That's that's how you make that a good hand. And so I got to split aces 4 times on one hand. Like I kept getting another ace. And I actually got my 5th hand was ace, but they don't let you split aces more than 4 times.
Wow.
So
the caps.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That was fun, and it was funny. I ended up actually pushing the hand because I won 2 and lost 2. So like it was a little anticlimactic, but it's you get a memory like that. That's worth a couple $100. It was fun.
What are you drinking when you're playing cards? Like what's your go-to?
I normally just do gin and tonic at the table.
Okay.
Because actually, there's something super refreshing about like a really weak casino gin and tonic.
Yeah, they are weak. I was gonna say weak.
They're very weak, and so man, you can just go through those things like water, and you kind of just stay in a good place all day. Like they've truly perfected the ability to gamble all day. Right? There's no windows around. You don't know what time of day it is, and they're just feeding you these drinks, and supposedly they have alcohol in them, but you don't really feel it, right? And you're just drinking them back to back, and then all of a sudden it's 7 a.m.
I can see that. Yeah, no, totally, man. No clocks on the walls, obviously. Time flies.
Yeah.
I really need to get to Vegas because I don't really do the gambling stuff. Every time I'm in Vegas, it was always for like EDC or electronic music shows or doing other things. Yeah. But I haven't really gotten like playing cards or doing whatever else. So I don't know. Maybe you're gonna have to. Yeah, I'll have to go with you. You'll have to show me the ropes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once you get your AARP card,
exactly. Do I get a discount when I get my AARP card at the tables or whatever? Can I do
might be a discount on slots?
On slots, that's true.
Oh man.
I mean, I've been to Vegas a bunch of times. I can only do even. I guess I haven't really gambled much when I've gone, but it's like I have a max of like 3 days in that city before I'm like.
That's the thing is I think that's why
can't do it anymore.
This trip was a lot of fun because it was basically just one. I mean, it was 2 nights technically, but pretty much just one night. And so you don't really have to feel like you have to pace yourself gambling or something. Like if you go to Vegas for 4 or 5 days, you have to really be methodical about gambling, because if you lose all the money that you want to spend the first day, then you're like, oh, well, what do I do for the rest of it? And you'll end up, I'll tell you what you end up doing. Right. You end up just spending more money.
More money, yeah, exactly.
Whereas if you just go for a day, you don't really have that like regret or like how much should I bet? How much do I need to worry about? Because it's like, well, you're only there for a day. So that was kind of fun. You don't really have to put the brakes on.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Brad, what about you? Any exciting events happening in Oregon?
Just
any more riots that you've
No riots.
Okay.
But,
a lot of snow.
Yeah, literally the city of Portland and the whole metro area just shut down. I luckily left. Like it didn't even snow that bad, I'll be honest. But left early, knowing it was gonna snow, and when I left like one in the evening, and it was like already rush hour traffic. I was like, oh shit, this is not going to be good. And luckily I got home in time. By the time I got home, traffic was so bad that some people literally waited in their cars like 6 hours to get across Portland.
Good God.
And I mean, like Portland's not a huge, I mean, it's big, but it's not huge by any means, but it just goes to show that like less than an inch of snow will literally make this town like just melt down.
Just shut down.
So so I just stayed home for the rest of the week, and then because really I can handle the snow fine. It's just the other people that like are really just a problem, because nobody gets chains, nobody gets snow tires. They don't know how to drive in it. But yeah, I mean that was the majority of my excitement. Just working.
How's your DSL hold up under that weather? Because I remember when I had DSL back when it would rain heavy and stuff, because it would, I guess maybe it was the wiring in the house, but it used to fuck with my internet connection way back in the day.
It's okay. I'm just gonna assume that maybe the people that were supposed to come back just died in the snowstorm, and then just all the bandwidth for me,
Yeah.
I think. But yeah, no problems there. So thank God, I
was going to say, if your internet goes down and you're stuck at home and you've got nothing, like,
right.
Honestly, those are probably, I think that's probably where most suicides occur in the United States, is when people are stuck at home and their internet goes out. I think at that point, it's probably like, people are like, what's the point?
I mean, that is truly a bleak future, though.
It's bleak. Like, I remember I had a situation. This is actually, I don't think I've had power out since I've been here very long. But I remember when Nick and I were rooming together before I moved to Pittsburgh, we had a thing where a transformer went down, and it was like 6 hours of, I know it sounds like crazy, 6 hours of no power, but 6 hours of no power and no internet. And I remember after like by hour 4, eventually we were just like, was like, this used to be the we were sitting there.
What
like
people
our phones
do before,
are dying.
you
I was
know?
like, yeah, this is what people did. I mean, you'd read by candlelight, or you just go to bed when it gets dark, or like there's. I was just like, I can't, man.
Pioneers did.
We're so spoiled now. There's just access to everything all the time. And I was like, man, I can't go back. I've evolved past it, man. I can't do it. But yeah. All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad you stayed safe throughout the 1 inch of snow or whatever you got. It snowed here a bit. We got a little bit. It was a little icy, but it was like bizarre. In Pittsburgh right now, it was like in the single digits. It was like 6-7 degrees, and the wind chill, it was like in the negatives. It felt like, and then the next day it was 65, or it was like 60 something degrees. It was bizarre, and now it's like getting cold again. So it's like we'd have this whiplash effect going on, which I don't really know what's happening. I can only attribute it to China's global warming conspiracy, probably at this point, but
absolutely,
it's a little odd. All right, but game wise, what have we been? What have we been playing? Katie, I see you look eager tonight to share about your
I do
exploits. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the sparkle in your eye.
Got a spark. Got a spark. Something happened. Something happened this week.
I just hear the word video games. The meaning of my life is realized. No, but I finished and played through all of Bayonetta this past week, as promised.
That's what it is. It was the Bayonetta spark. I saw her silhouette in your eyes. And it looked like you were, dude. You've been looking up some Bayonetta Rule 34, haven't you? Because I see
this is taking a turn. I don't want to go down.
Okay,
you want to talk about the game.
Okay, go ahead.
No, but but Bayonetta, it was pretty good. It's just a thoroughly enjoyable game that is absolutely batshit ridiculous, with no exaggeration. That game just does not take itself seriously at all. It's just a really fun, funny, insane action game. It's pretty good. And I've got Bayonetta 2 right here. Gonna play that right after the cast. Hopefully talk about that one next week.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty good.
So another cue card down?
Yes, another one.
Nice.
Another one bites the dust. But I did play it on the Wii U version. Sadly, there's no PC version, so it's either the Wii U version or the 360 version is what you want to play on. The PS3. Did I say PS3? I meant 360. The PS3 version will dip to like 30, 25 FPS a lot of times. So you want to stay away from that if you can. But yeah, that was good. And then other than that, anytime Rocket League gets a new update, I just get addicted all over again. So I was playing a bunch of that. And I actually had a lot of success with like trading items. I had changed my name on Steam to Katie Need Pixel Fire, and next thing I know, somebody adds me and is like, "Hey, I have the Pixel Fire you want." So we trade, and I Pixel Fire, and then I traded, and I changed my name to Katie Need Polygonal, because I realized like the Polygonal's the trail, that is just a beautiful trail. I remember, because when the crates first came out, I was looking at what was available in Pixel Fire. It looked cool, but Polygonal is what I really wanted, and I didn't remember until now. And
okay,
then,
for those that don't know what the hell you're talking about, what is this? Polygonal.
Yeah. First of all, I thought polygamy was something where you had multiple wives. So
yeah, sorry. So Rocket League has this like item trading thing now, where you're like opening cases and trading items with people. And Pixel Fire and Polygonal are both trails for whenever you boost. So Pixel Fire is Pixel Fire is kind of how it sounds, just like something you'd see of like an old school retro game. And then Polygonal Trail is like a rocket boost that you'd see out of maybe like a 64 or a PlayStation era game, which cool. I think it looks beautiful. And,
so it's not scriptures from Joseph Smith or anything like that.
Polygonal. Yeah, I can't wait to get the Psalms.
So that actually would be incredible, like a trail that's like literally quotes from the Book of Mormon.
Oh, that would be awesome. It's like the whole Book of Revelations as you go for an aerial. That'd be sick. But yeah, and then somebody added me again, and I was able to trade. It was a pair of looper wheels that I wasn't using anymore, so I traded those for the trail. I was pretty happy with it. I just really wish the drop rate for cases. Craces. I was thinking crates, cases. I just wish
don't give them any ideas. Don't say craces, because that'll be a thing in one of the games.
Craces, they'll patch it. Yeah,
crates, not cases. Better percentage to drop.
It's like a crate, but also a case. Don't think about it too much.
God.
But yeah, believe me, if there's a way I could buy crates outright and not just buy keys, I would absolutely.
Why do you think they? Because they must know that people are like Rocket League, like the devs must know that people would buy crates if they could. Do you think it's just why do you think they don't allow you to do that?
I think it might go in hand with because the whole thing about Rocket League items is that none of it is done through like the Steam marketplace, because they outright said that they like don't believe in like gambling websites and stuff.
Oh, okay, well there you go.
Shots at Valve. So because of that, you can't really just buy crates like you could in CS:GO. So the only way you can really get crates is by actually getting like drops for them, or finding somebody who can trade them to you. So
I didn't know they actually took shots at Valve like that. Yeah, that's definitely a shot.
Yeah,
But
fair. I mean, I'm kind of happy for it because it's as a whole, it's a really functional system they've worked in there. But yeah, that's all I played this week. Okay. Not too much.
Nice. Bradley, what about you? What'd you play?
Battlefield, of course, because the update.
Yes. What did you? I want your thoughts, because I played the update a decent amount too.
I'm pissed because they didn't nerf the Automatico.
Yep.
That was the one rifle that they seemingly avoided for whatever reason.
I think it's a submachine gun, technically. But
okay, I don't care because it's.
I mean, it's a laser beam. Yeah, it might as well be
it's
a rifle.
Yeah, I mean, I consider it to be such, but
yeah.
I tried the new map because I bought premium. I just gave in, got premium finally, and I like the new map a lot actually. But I finally got into flying planes and trying the tanks out and stuff like that, because I feel like I just need to change it up. I've been solo queuing a lot, so it's like, okay, what can I do to kind of like, it's like I want to play, but I just want to change it up a little. And the planes are surprisingly easy to fly with like a mouse and keyboard. Like
really, Brad?
Yeah,
watch my stream and see me attempt it. Would I don't probably have the proficiency that you do, but God,
just stay in third person. That's all I can say.
I mean, the thing is, I haven't really given it any much of, because basically I'll just fly it and then clip something and die, or just instantly. So I haven't really given it all that much of a chance. I didn't even know that you could look first person when you're in the bomber to drop the bombs. I would always stay first person, and then I would just try to guess, and then I was like, okay, well, it makes a lot. Yeah, so I found out that you could right click recently, so that shows you how advanced I am in the planes. But so you've been having fun with that though, like you've been. Yeah,
because I haven't been doing a lot of dogfighting. I've been doing a lot of like the dropping bombs, and and that's been a lot of fun. But yeah, been enjoying that. I stopped playing Final Fantasy 15. It bored the shit out of me.
How many hours did you end up with that in that game?
I don't know, 20 or 30 or something like that. And it's just like I couldn't do anymore. I wasn't even that. I was like the 4th chapter in or something like that. I just stopped
30 hours and you're on chapter 4?
I was doing like a lot of side missions and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, so from what I understand, it goes away from the open world part and it gets to like a more just like basically what am I trying to say here? Just an actual story where it forces you to go through different parts of the plot. And I should have just jumped to that. So
yeah, you can beat the game in like 25 hours, but they really did focus the side content heavily in that one.
Yeah, so I've been doing that, and then I launched Rust again, but
we're gonna talk about Rust a little bit later. But what? So give me. I just want to, because obviously people have been listening to this cast for the last couple months or even year know your Rust addiction and on and off habit of it. But what is it usually when there's is there like a certain hole? Is there a trigger for you? Is it like you're just like like maybe it'll be good to get back in the rotation, because you're playing Battlefield and stuff. You've got games going on. So why?
I think it's It's the nudity, Scott. No,
That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for you to say.
no.
The penises and the titties and the vaginas.
No. Okay, so when you played, did you have that uncensored or censored? Just curious.
I had it uncensored, and then realized. I think that's fine, but then I realized that I don't know, because I wanted to post some of it on YouTube and I couldn't get a straight answer. Like some people get like instantly nuked because people will flag it, and then it's just they're fucked. And other people that like the YouTube TOS, they don't care. So it was like, so I ended up kind of being annoyed. I should have probably done the nudity little thing just to be safe. But
no, it's just really weird to me. I don't know why, but it's just like I feel weird when it's not censored for some reason.
Oh, when it's not censored? Oh, really? See, I feel the opposite, man.
Or when it is censored. No, I feel more comfortable when it is censored. I don't know why.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Typical.
I don't know why.
Anglo-Saxon white Protestant male.
Not comfortable with the human body.
Uncomfortable with the human body, man. That's fine. It's just a
well, it's just really weird when you're going around hatching at trees and stuff, and then there's a random titty in your face or something like that. It's just like, it's not normal.
Sounds like a wet dream to me, but yeah. I guess it just depends on.
It's not a normal game. What do you think
the early days of the world were like, Brad?
Yeah, dude.
Well, do you think they had AK-47s? Like,
I mean, do we really know
plants?
They didn't? I mean,
oh, that's true. But what's gotten me back into it really is they've been doing some updates recently, which we'll get into later. But and just the fact that like the crew I normally roll with is starting to get back into it too, and like Rust is an experience that you can't really play, like you can't really do by yourself. Like it's just not the same.
No.
When you have a full crew, just be completely toxic and horrible to other people with. It's worth it. So yeah, they started getting going on that. Game looks good. I have a 1070 now, so I can actually get a decent frame rate. So pretty excited.
Cool. All right. Brandon, what about you? Did you play anything this week?
Nothing too out of the ordinary. Play Hearthstone and WoW pretty regularly, but I played I did go back to Hitman, because they have a holiday mission where you have to kill Marvin Harry, like the Home Alone characters, and so they're not. It's kind of a weird mission because they're not really that smart. Like the other missions in Hitman all feel pretty well orchestrated, and you kind of have to think about what you're gonna do. But these Marvin Harry characters were just like walking around in this mansion. You're in a big mansion where there's a party happening, and they're just like walking around and they're frequently going through rooms and things that no one else is in. And so the mission was actually pretty easy because they're not really doing a whole lot. They're walking around constantly, and it's pretty easy to just kill them and hide them somewhere because they were rummaging around, in some room that no one else is in. So that was way easier than I expected it to be. But I guess for content, kind of the recurring content like that, I guess I can't necessarily expect there to be the same bar as like the story mission type stuff. But even so, I mean, it was fun. It's just kind of dumb. And then, so the one weird thing that happened was I killed the first one in a room, and then I drug his body and put it in a closet. And then when it came back from the little cutscene where you put him in a closet, there was a guy in a Santa suit in the room right behind me, that just appeared.
Shit.
And,
wow,
and so
it
freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah,
at first, because I was like, wait, is because if someone sees you kill the person, then they sets off the alarms and all that.
Right.
But I put the body in, and then all of a sudden there's Santa standing there a few feet from me. So I was a little taken aback, but figured, hey, I guess I should choke out this Santa and see if I can take his costume. Which I could, but then, like putting on the Santa costume, it looked like you were trespassing. So like there are certain, depending on the costume you're wearing, you're only allowed to go certain places. So like you know, if you're a attending guest at this party, like you can't go upstairs where the VIPs are or whatever, or it'll say you're trespassing. But then the Santa costume was just, I was trespassing like anywhere that I tried it. And so anyway, I didn't end up using it, but I was like, I wonder if I didn't check, but I wonder if there's a challenge around wearing the Santa costume and then killing the target. But yeah, it was anyway. Hitman's fun.
Game sounds so good. I gotta get that. I gotta get it.
Everyone
tells me how fun
I feel
it
like
is.
that'd be a good game to stream.
Yeah,
I
it's
honestly
like
think it's such a good stream game. Like I actually really want to see you play it on stream because I think it would be so much more fun for me if there were others suggesting things to do and all that. Like, because I feel like the Hitman, the missions are not that hard. If you just want to do something basic, like get a quick pistol headshot or something if they're in a room where no one else is.
Right, like you can like force your way through the missions.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
you can.
It's
like
it's
pretty easy to do the missions the same way each time. And they're not all super easy, but like the methodology is easy to do that. But the fun, a lot of the fun is trying things that you're not sure if it'll work. And I haven't really done that much exploring, but I feel like that's only because I'm not really thinking about what might work, whereas other people watching would probably they would be a little more adventurous than I would be.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should definitely try Hitman. I still have like I think 3 full story missions to do. Like I've only done 3 out of the 6 because there's just so many challenges and stuff to do that I didn't make it all the way through yet. So I'm actually hoping that maybe I'll get a chance to play that a little more this week before I leave for Christmas, and go through a few more of those missions. But definitely next time it's on sale, I would say you should get it.
Cool. All right.
I was gonna ask you guys actually. Did anyone see Star Wars, the new Rogue One?
I have not.
No.
I haven't yet, but I'm probably gonna see it over Christmas sometime.
Okay.
Did you see it, Brad?
I did.
What were your?
If I were to, I'm not gonna give any spoilers or anything, but I went into it, and it came out. I don't know. It was something completely different than I thought it was going to be. I'll say that. And then, but it was still good. Katie was actually upset with it when we left, but the next day she actually came to terms with it and liked it. But it was good. I would give it 8 out of 10. That's what I would give it. Okay. But I'm a Star Wars fan, so I don't know. But yeah, sorry. I was hoping somebody else would.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've seen that seems to be the general reaction. Though I have seen some people with pretty strong opinions that I'm friends with that really didn't like it, which I was surprised about.
Really?
But I think for the most, though they were in the minority. But I mean, I haven't seen any of. I haven't seen any of the new Star Wars. I didn't see the last one.
Oh really?
Yeah. No, still haven't. I mean, I've had it spoiled for me because I'm on Twitch, so I know everything that happens. But that's not like hampering me from seeing it. I do need to get around to it. But
shout out to one of the, I think his name is Zambot, I think, on Twitch or something like that. Anyways, he developed a bot, or Zangold, excuse me. He made a bot that purposely purged posts that posted Star Wars spoilers. Oh, that's like funny. last time. Yeah, shout out to him. I wonder if he did it again, but yeah, I hate that. I wish there was something to maybe the new moderation tools that Twitch launched could do something with those Star Wars spoilers. But
unfortunately, I'm not sure spoilers qualify as harassment.
Yes, yeah,
it might as well be for some of us that are so emotionally invested. Okay.
God.
But
oh man.
All right.
Okay, that's cool. I'll go real quick and then we'll jump into some news. We talked a little bit about the Battlefield 1 patch, but I played a decent amount of Battlefield 1, and I do like it. They definitely touched the Hunter shotgun. So Brad, what do I do when they nerf one of the super OP thing? I go to the next OP thing. So I've been using the Automatico a bunch.
Oh, I'm sure you
just getting 40-50 kill games. But I think overall the patch is good. There's still a lot of things in the game that are very frustrating though, and I know that these are fixes that must take a lot longer to do, and obviously they would fix it if they knew what the fix was by now. But shit like getting revived and having your guns animation glitch out, or you get revived and you can't fire your weapon happens all the time. Happens all the time.
Yeah,
I mean it's really basic. Yeah, and so for that, excuse me, for that not to be fixed is a pretty big deal. I mean there are definitely some good changes. They made some changes to the operations game mode which is basically what I play with my crew the most. A few tweaks and stuff that were good for that. But yeah, overall, and then performance-wise, actually, the game overall has been running noticeably better, at least for me. Not that it was ever, I was having issues with Origin, but it just stuff that should work. So like in the last patch, they changed it. They added a quit button so that you could leave the game. I mean, a lot of this stuff sounds like people must be like, you paid how much for this fucking game? But I mean, it sounds a lot worse. Now that I'm saying it, it sounds pretty fucking bad. But the game is really fun to play, but there are some pretty big deals. So like the quit button when you're in the lobby actually quits now and doesn't just, because what would happen is you would hit the quit button and then it would just time out, and then you'd still have to wait the same amount of time as if there was a button or not. That's fixed. That works now. So it's a lot of like little things that like are just kind of.
I think they are fixing something. So if you probably don't know, Scott, but one of the glaring issues was if you were an AMD user in the last patch, there would randomly appear a red light on the map, and it would blind everyone. Like you couldn't look like one direction in Battlefield.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, and it was, and I got to see it for myself, and it's ridiculous. It's like looking as if you were in the game looking at the sun, but it was just red, and like,
insane.
Yes. So I mean, there's some crazy stuff going on with the game, but yeah, like things like the animation is still broken. Which
that's a big
deal.
Like
you and I both know it's like, oh, okay, quick switch to my pistol and then back.
Right, exactly. But even there's situations where you get
no excuse.
There's no excuse. And then you just will take a death because even if you got res and were able to shoot instantly, you would have killed him. But because you even know you have to quick switch because it'll be glitched, you don't get the kill. It's just, it happens so much. So those are like, this patch was like okay, but I'm ready for some of those real meaty changes to come down that just quality of life stuff for the game that need to happen. But I'm still having a lot of fun with it. I'm just really ready for a new operation. I think ultimately we're going to get, I mean, I broke and I bought premium recently as well. I got it when it was like 30% off. There's four DLC drops, I guess, planned, and I think there's going to be an operation in each one. So potentially for that game mode, you're looking at 8 different, campaigns to play across, which is pretty nice. So I'm kind of looking forward to that era of it because, 4 operations now you rotate through, but they can get old after a little while. So,
it seems like they're going to add different. Well, when they did the Battlefield weekend, they did like custom servers that you could even play with the devs. Like that was interesting.
Yep.
I think we're gonna see a lot more customization. We're gonna see new game modes. I don't know. I feel like they're actually listening to people. Back in Battlefield 3.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like they were really listening to the crowd, not as much as they are like right now. Because like Battlefield 4, like they took off with the community feedback and they saw this success because people are still playing it to this day. So I think they're taking that feedback. But I did hear that the one map, I forget what it's called, but it's like in Italy or something in the mountains where you could just they fixed that where you couldn't just camp underground in the tunnels and stay on sea or whatever it was.
They changed the second cap point B, the second B point. Yeah, where you used to be able to you would sit in the bunker and it became like the Metro map in Battlefield.
Battlefield 3 or something.
Battlefield 3,
that.
yeah. And so that, I think that was a good change overall. Some people were a little annoyed by it because it's like, well, it's a bunker. You should be able to do that. But it really did slow the gameplay down because if you were a defending team, there was no way. I mean, there was a way to break it, but the level of coordination required from the opposing team was just usually never enough. And then if you're playing against a good team that knows what they're doing, even if you have a high level of coordination, it was so hard to break that kind of stalemate.
So for the people listening, and maybe you didn't play Battlefield, there's this map, and basically you have to go and capture these different points. Well, there's this one point that you could also capture from above ground or below ground, and if you had enough people below ground, you could just sit on the point, and the other team could never cap it. And there's only 2 exits, and they were just like single person doors that you could also lock. And
you would lock and then you would just spam nades. So what would happen inevitably is the defense, you just have medics down there and your entire team is just spawning. You've got 20 people in this bunker and it's just like you got medics reviving them. It's just so hard to break through.
Ammo drops going everywhere because it's infinite supply. So
I mean, it was fun to be on the defensive side. I'm not going to lie.
It's very nice.
Because you just rack up, like it would just be a joke. We'd be like, all right, who's going to go out there now and get a quad with the shotgun? And we kill 4 people trying to go in. And then, you just get rezzed. And, there was a certain level to it it's like stupid fun, but I totally understand why they changed it. Like, I think it's a good change.
Yeah, it was a balance.
Yeah, so no, I agree. I think they are listening, and it's good that there's not going to be another Battlefield game until 2018 or whatever I think they said,
Right.
which means that they're going to be putting a lot of work in supporting this game. So. And it's good, like I said this last week, but it's fun to play. Like I'm still playing CS here and there, but I'm more into Battlefield than I am into Counter-Strike right now. And so to be playing a game like Battlefield that much and then being like, holy shit, dude, this patch is 4K. It's like Christmas. I love that shit. Even if it's shit that, even if it breaks the game more or there's things I don't agree with, I like waking up on patch day and being like, I get to read 5 pages of notes. Like, this is pretty cool. I like that.
From what I understand, they added a spectator client, which
and they did
huge requested thing. So they might be taking this seriously as far as competitive goes. What mode that might be or how teams go, I don't know, but that's still pretty big for an FPS at this scale.
I don't know. So. People were talking about the esport thing of Battlefield. I don't think Battlefield needs an esports scene to stay I think people will play the game regardless. Because I just don't know how you do. I guess we'll have to see if they have any plans for it, but I really struggle to figure out how to make Battlefield interesting to watch because it's like it's
as like domination or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but even then, have you tried to watch when they did Battlefield 4 and 3 competitive?
No.
It's so boring.
That's the thing. Painful. I think they should.
It's so painful.
It's clear that they're focusing on esports. Like EA as a company is really focusing on esports. But but Battlefield has never really had a strong esports scene. Really in any of their games. You're right. Like they focus on those big, massive battles and stuff, and like that's just not conducive to esports at all. Though
it's great for the machinima and all that stuff that'll be made. Like it'll be cool videos.
But like, are people going to want to watch like 6v6?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe. I mean, the gunplay is pretty fast and stuff. Like maybe you could argue if they had a decent spec client and stuff for it. But I just think there's too many other players in the marketplace, and I just don't think Battlefield needs to be, like you said, EA is focusing on esports, but I don't think they need to force.
I think they would like Battlefield to have an esports scene, but I think it's probably just tough to find the way to make it a compelling viewing experience because it is historically it's not a game like none of their modes offer small play. Like even I think War Pigeon isn't that 10v10.
I think that's 10. Yeah, I think it's 10 on 10.
Even their small modes are like 10v10, which is already too large for esports, really.
General, yeah. So we'll see with that. So we want to go over here a couple of these notes about our.
We should talk about. This is our last podcast of the year. Because we will not have one next week. Next Sunday is Christmas, and then and after that we're already in 2017. So with our last podcast of 2016, we're not going to have proper like game of the year type stuff where we award a trophy to the best game. We've done that in past years with decidedly mixed results. But I think it's probably worth spending a little bit of time to just talk about our favorite games of the year, and it doesn't have we don't have to deliberate about the best game, but I think it's just worth talking about. Like 2016 had a lot of awesome games come out, and so I figure it's worth recapping some of our favorites as kind of a collection of games of the year that we would recommend for people.
Okay. I mean, mine are. I just got done talking about one of my favorite games of the year. Battlefield 1 is one of my favorite games that came out in 2016. Other ones that I played, there's a lot of ones that I didn't actually play that I know, like, I really still got to play Doom. I know Doom's probably up there for you, Brandon.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just inferring, but I also Uncharted 4 I really enjoyed on the console side of things. I really thought Uncharted 4 was good.
Deus Ex?
The thing about Deus Ex,
it wasn't as much of a bite as the first one,
I didn't finish it. No, it didn't grab me as much as the previous game. I don't think it was a bad game by any means, but it was a bit of a letdown for me. I don't know if the narrative just didn't. I kind of just lost interest in it. But I don't know if that's the fault of the game as much. But I feel like it kind of is, because the last one I really couldn't put it down. I was super engrossed in the story. So I felt like as it started getting towards the second act, it kind of fell apart. Personally, but yeah, those would be a couple from me. Other ones, obviously, people. Oh boy, I'm waiting for someone to say Overwatch, because I know that's got to be one of your guys' favorite, right?
It's up there.
I mean, I think Overwatch. Yeah. Overwatch is a good game. Like, it's a game that I think you can argue that it's not like game of the year, right? Like, you can argue that it's not. It may not be worthy of some of the amount of praise that it gets from certain people, but but I mean, I think it is another example of Blizzard putting out what is objectively an excellent product. Like, the game itself, as a piece of art, and as a piece of as just like a technical game, like, the game works great. It has a thriving community. I think it made a big splash when it might not have, and like, it's just another it's another example of Blizzard putting out a title that's like sort of a little bit risky, but becomes a titan overnight. And so I think it can't be ignored whether or not you like it.
No, I totally understand why it's in contention. I think everything's true about what you said.
Yeah, and even me, I actually have not played a whole lot of Overwatch in the past few months, but when it first came out, I played it quite a bit, and so I've already, like, just in the short time I played it, I already got my money's worth, and so it's a game that I'm pretty sure I will come back to infrequently over the next few years, and so it's like an easy purchase, and I think that's not easy to say about every single game. So I think it's a game that you can buy it now and have faith that game will be worth playing for years to come.
Okay. What about UKD? Brad, chime in. Any of your favorites? Favorite game this year?
Well, I was thinking about doing a video on my own about the best games I played. So I've got a doc here I can look at of some notable ones I already got beforehand.
You're not gonna tell us because you're saving it for no,
I am gonna tell you. If you want to see what I think, watch my video.
Yeah, I was waiting for that plug. Sorry guys.
Yeah, you'll tell us two, and if you want to find the other three, you'll have to watch the video.
But if you really want to know, just like the video and subscribe. No, but you know me, I got to bring up Dark Souls 3, which came up this year. Yeah. That was a good game.
I mean, as much as I shit on it, that's a valid game, I think, to pick from.
Yeah. That one, I feel objectively had the best combat of the series, in my opinion. Especially with the added DLC, it's got the most functioning PvP the series has ever had. It's got really good boss fights. It's a really beautiful game too. And then also, it's not a Souls game; it's a Souls-like. This game, Salt and Sanctuary, came out a couple months before Dark Souls. It was kind of like a 2D kind of Metroidvania kind of deal. It was an indie game, but it had the same kind of gameplay as a Souls game. And that game, actually, I was expecting something kind of throwaway, because with the art style of the game, it looks like something you'd see on Newgrounds or something. But I ended up getting really impressed by that game. It's got it just really knew what its audience was. So it really kind of catered to like Souls players. So it knew, you know, people want to read item descriptions, people want really deep like worlds and stuff. And so Salt and Sanctuary, that game was. Some more stuff on the indie side, of course, Hyper Light Drifter. I think I've sung enough praises about that game in episodes past. And then also that game Pony Island that came out this year. Like I think that was such a like old game. That was the first game on like 2016 Wikipedia, so just barely making it in. Pony Island. It's like a short game. That game is, I feel like, a hidden gem on Steam. Pony Island. It's got a pretty good story. And then, of course, Inside, the first game from the Limbo devs in, 8 years it's been. And so, yeah, that was really just a really well-polished game. And I don't really play roguelikes that much, but Enter the Gungeon, that was a really, really fun, addicting game. And then lastly, it's not PC, but then Fire Emblem Fates was the like the newest Fire Emblem game that came out this year. And it just really took, because the game prior to this one was Fire Emblem Awakening, which like completely like kind of rebooted the series, like made like really streamlined and like made it a lot more mainstream, and it really kind of revived the series. And Fire Emblem Fates just kind of takes that, keeps going with it. I've only played the first game of 3 games that came out with it, the Birthright one, so you definitely get a lot of content with that one if you end up digging it. But yeah, those were some good ones.
Wow, I can't believe you gave us all that content for free, and now nobody's gonna watch your video.
Yeah,
dude.
I know.
I can't
I'm
believe
on the
you did that,
decline.
Katie. It's all right. We appreciate it, dude.
it.
Those are the sacrifices. You know?
Oh no, that was only a third of the list.
Oh, okay.
No,
All right,
I'm
good.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You're like, that was like a 16th of what I'm going to talk about in the video.
Do you have another hour? Or
Yeah. All right, Brad. What about you?
Well, it's a toss-up. There's 4: Battleborn, Paragon, Paladins, or Quantum Break.
Oh my god.
No, I'm completely kidding. Oh,
Yeah, it's like I would hope. I would hope.
My favorite games of the year. I mean, Battlefield clearly is up there.
Yeah. I don't think Rust came out this year, right? So you can't say Rust. Did it?
No, it's still not out. It's
It's
not
out.
even out yet. So,
It's early access.
yeah. Gosh, I really don't know. I No Man's Sky. No.
All right. Well,
All right,
actually,
come on.
we're going to move on to the next category because that's actually my answer for the next question, which is what's our some of the biggest gaming related stories of 2016 that we really enjoyed. And I mean, I think we'd be remiss.
I didn't give you.
Yeah,
my
did we
favorite
talk about
games.
Brandon?
Oh, Brandon did talk. He talked about Overwatch. I thought that was your vote.
Oh.
We know his. It's
I didn't hear
Pokemon Go.
any. No, it's Doom.
No, yeah.
Oh,
For me, I think my favorite. There have been a lot of good experiences this year, but and admittedly, I've not played a lot of games that people really liked. So my list is very incomplete. But Doom, I think Doom is probably my favorite experience of the year, only because my expectations were not that high, and it just obliterated them.
Well, if I remember right, the 3 of us, like APL, you and myself, played the alpha or beta for Doom for the multiplayer.
Yeah, the multiplayer.
And that's
it was not
that
great.
set the bar. That set the bar very low
Yeah.
for Doom. So
but Doom is just it's so good. It's one of those things that I think like everyone should play through that single player, because it's about as close as you can get to to I think that old Doom style gameplay today. So Doom's really good. I mean, Overwatch is also really good. Like I said, I feel like if you don't own it, it's a game that you probably should own if you enjoy shooters, because there is fun to be had. And for $40, like I think that's pretty reasonable for such a polished game. And also Hitman. I got on that wagon kind of late, but Hitman I think is really good. And what else? There's one other one I was thinking of. Battlefield 1 is good, but I haven't played it enough that I would say that's like one of my favorites of the year. Yeah, I don't know. World of Warcraft Legion, it's pretty good.
Pokemon Go. Come on, where's
I
think
don't know.
Pokemon Go would be a nice segue.
Pokemon Go is I guess it is a good segue. I was actually going to read from Metacritic. I was going to tell you some of the top scoring PC games of the year.
Let's hear.
Because the top game of the year, according to Metacritic, Out of the Park Baseball 17.
Wow.
Rigged.
Wow.
Followed up.
That's a sim, right? A baseball sim game?
Yeah. Followed up by The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Blood and Wine. Makes sense. Overwatch.
Oh, yeah.
Number 4, Steven's Sausage Roll.
Okay, what is this list?
No. So this list is like mostly... So those games... One, Metacritic scoring is like kind of weird because it tries to put all of the scoring into a 100-point system, even though different outlets don't have 100-point systems. So like this Out of the Park Baseball has 8 reviews, and they're all positive, but it's like 8 reviews is nothing, for a major game. So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. I've never heard of Steven's Sausage Roll, but
I'm looking at the Metacritic for that game. It's got a 100 from Destructoid. It's a game where every aspect of it is designed with such incredible care and efficiency. Like, what? How did this go under the radar?
Dang.
Steven's Sausage Roll.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we should go through a nice little segue here to the biggest gaming related stories of 2016.
Yeah.
Because Pokemon Go actually is a good example of something that I don't like. I guess it was actually one of my favorite games of the year because I've had a lot of fun with it, and like friends playing it, Hillary playing it for a bit. Like I've enjoyed that game a lot. It is not like objectively a good game.
A good game, right?
It is only one of my favorite games because of these like the circumstances around the game. And all the hype,
the social experience rather than the actual game.
Yeah, it was,
and it's using Pokemon as the backdrop.
Right. It was just in the right place at the right time. Coming out in the summer. It was a lot of fun, but a lot of that, frankly, was in spite of the actual quality of the game. But it was undoubtedly one of the biggest stories of the year. I think it surprised everyone with how many people knew about it, and like the fact, we talked about it on this cast, like walking around and seeing people on their phones and knowing that they're playing Pokemon was something I have never seen with any other mobile game ever.
There's really something to be said about like the impact it had on society in general, bringing all these people together.
It got people mugged, robbed, beat up. Every week. When it was at its height, we talked about it for months in a row, really, for a couple months. So, I agree. Huge impact. Gotta talk about it.
And now new Pokemon are coming out, and everybody.
Pokemon Go, I feel like, is actually one of the main sources of like augmented reality stories. Even though Pokemon Go is like the actual game was not really even remotely related to augmented reality.
Right.
So that was kind of funny. What are some other of the biggest stories this year?
My favorite is just the No Man's Sky disaster because it has everything that I love. It has expectations not being met. It has absolutely nightmare disaster level of non-PR or attempted PR, but people have no idea what they've gotten themselves into. It has it just had I don't know for my money if anything in 2017 is going to bring me as much joy as the fucking, just car accident you can't look away from. That was No Man's Sky, and still giving. We still routinely talk about, like, remember, like we reported on a story recently where one of the developers went over and is now working on fucking what's the huge open world space game. He defected from Hello Games and is now working on Star Citizen. And wow. So. That's like there's just so much stuff in the No Man's Sky Because I think people could look at that and just say like, yeah, it's like an easy kind of like if we're looking at the merit of these stories and be like, that's an easy target or whatever else. But no, like the reason that it really got to the level that it did was because it was a train wreck with all of the right ingredients in it, and it really is deserving. Like I guess if we were gonna do this proper and we had like a criteria, or like we were checking off tick boxes as to what made something a legitimate like contender in this category for a story, like does anything beat No Man's Sky in your guys' opinion? I mean, there was a lot of stuff that happened this year, but
I just think it was notable just like how many games that have been like, when are these ever going to come out? We had No Man's Sky come out. We had Final Fantasy 15 come out after 10 years. We had The Last Guardian came out a week or two ago. So that's what I immediately think of. But yeah, No Man's Sky, that's just a really big event. I really don't want to bring up Hideo Kojima again, despite all the events going on with Kojima Productions. That's big. I mean, that's like a piece of gaming history. Yeah. I guess right there. But
you're right.
We just give him so much love on this podcast, guys. Don't we all just love Kojima?
I mean, who doesn't though? I mean, we'll never love him the same way as Jeff Keighley does, but yeah. I mean,
that's what I was about to say. Is that bromance is almost a bigger gaming story than
the actual.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Nintendo Switch got announced.
Yeah.
It's a piece of yeah.
I mean, all right. Brad, any stories that come to mind for you?
Well, I was just seething in rage here thinking about the Switch because, like, as a Nintendo fan, I had the Wii U and then promised all these titles, or at least anticipated some of these titles, and then they shoved the Switch in my face now. It's like they wasted my time and everything.
Would you say that they did a bait and switch with your expectations and your money? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Spicy play on words.
So they'll have to do a lot for me to pick up the Switch.
I feel like can I say as somebody that's not totally on the outside, and I say this all the time because I never grew up playing Nintendo games, don't to this day. Nintendo definitely, it's almost like, because I would say it's similar to like my relationship with Valve, where Valve will shit on me a lot, but there's also there's good things, like there's good memories. They've made a lot of my favorite games. But like the relationship with Nintendo and its fans definitely seems like very similar and abusive.
There's a huge, well, that's the thing. Like there's a disconnect. I mean,
yeah.
Nintendo doesn't listen to independent press. They don't listen to their fans. I don't feel like.
It's very similar. Yeah.
Where Valve
does sometimes, but they don't always.
They're at least on Reddit interacting directly with the community.
That's true. Now they are.
Right. But there's a complete disconnect from any actual fan base or community or anything like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're right.
We're seeing, if I see another Mario remake, I'll shit a brick. I can't stand any more Mario games.
Did you get the mobile one on your phone?
No, I think that's an iPhone exclusive.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's only on iOS.
It is. Okay.
But even then, I don't think I'd buy it because it's like I'm so done with Mario at this point as a Nintendo fan that I want new IP. I want new titles. I want all these things. But yeah, I think that's a big part for 2016 for me is just this franchised Nintendo. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Nostalgia stuff with Blizzard was a pretty big story, at least for gaming.
That impacted a lot of gamers, I feel.
Yeah, that story I feel like made waves when I think a lot of people didn't expect that it would. Like you wouldn't have thought that story would end up flaring up the way it did, but ended up being a pretty big deal. And I think sort of shows, I don't know, just highlights how sort of tenuous the current situation is with games and their communities and like mods and it's all like that delicate balance.
Yep.
I feel like that really highlights it. And then the other stuff was just, I guess, all the VR stuff. It wasn't really one story, but just VR as a topic. I feel like it's just nonstop stories about VR games, like headsets, certain exclusives, And even still, I feel like not really hitting the prime time yet. Like VR still feels a little bit premature to me.
I mean, yeah. There's a dick measuring contest going on between HTC and Oculus right now, and I think things are definitely far from over as far as VR goes. I mean, we're just in the Oculus just added controllers so you can have a full room experience, right? So
yeah, I feel like there was a lot of news stories around VR, but the install base on those is not even that high. Like it's people are talking about it, but they're not. The units are no longer flying off the shelves, I feel like.
That's not true. I mean, Steam Dev Days, they said there's 1,000 new VR users every day, at least. So
right, but I guess what I mean is 1,000 new users a day. If you that's still not great trajectory. It maybe it is percentage wise because the current base is so small, but 1,000 new users a day. That means over the course of the year, your entire install base is grown by 365,000.
Well,
that's not good enough.
I think it's not much if you were to say let's say it's a $150 device, but when you're talking $800 for just to play certain games, I think that's pretty impressive. I think
but that's what I mean. It's still, I feel like it's still so far out of normal people's reach.
It's still out of reach. Yeah.
But you're already seeing, like you were talking about, kind of the war between different platforms, and I feel like the story for me is consumers kind of being caught in the middle of there's not a clear path to how you get the best VR experience, I feel like. And I actually thought about thinking about Christmas gifts and stuff. I was like, maybe I should ask for either a Rift or a Vive. But then I thought about it and I was like, no, I shouldn't ask for those because I would have bought one if I thought it was good enough.
If I really wanted one. Right,
but that's the only reason I haven't bought one for myself is because I actually don't think they're there yet. So I decided, I was like, no, I didn't buy this for a reason. And so maybe next year is the year that VR kind of matures and hopefully gets cheaper and actually gets to a reasonable spot. But I don't know. It was all over the news this year, but I feel like it's still got a ways to go.
I don't want to, because we need to get into the news here. We have one more topic to discuss too, in regards to the roundup at the end of the year. But do you guys? I've used enough VR at this point. I don't own it, but I've used it at events and stuff. And there's nothing that I've played. Yes, it's been very impressive, and it's crazy for a demo, and it's immersive. But nothing I've played yet has made me go this is in the future. This is how I want to consume my game media. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool experience. Certain games that are more, whatever, a walking simulator or whatever else. Do you think that VR is going to be more just yes, you can do that, and it's another thing that if you want to experience the game that way, you can? Because I think a lot of the way that people sometimes describe VR is that it's going to be, and obviously the cart's ahead of the horse. I've said this for a while. I forget what my bet is. I said 5 years from now, talk to me about VR and see if it's really taken off like everyone says it's going to. But for me, I just haven't had that. I haven't had that experience where I'm yeah, it's cool as a one-off. It's cool to show my friends. It's cool. I'm sure there'll be certain experiences. For me, watching a movie, I know they're already working on stuff like that, but making a VR movie where you can look around the entire 2.5 hours, I think that makes a lot of sense. But for gaming, do you think it's going to be more just hey, this is an addendum. This is something that you can use if you want to. But I don't ever see myself going away from a mouse and keyboard, for stuff where I really want that controller or whatever. So that, to me, that's one of the big barriers, because I'm I'm not going to spend, and this is going back to the price that you're saying, Brandon, I'm not going to spend $800 on something that's just a cool side experience for me.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to whether it's affordable in the future, because a PS4 VR is the most accessible VR you can get. And I'm talking sophisticated VR. I'm not talking about Gear VR you put your phone in, but it's still $400.
Right.
And so once it gets more affordable and more people get their hands on it, I feel like the appeal will go up. I mean, I tried a horror game in VR, like on an Oculus Rift about a year ago, and I was just having my mind blown. And I definitely think there are like a lot of really good like opportunities for like just really good innovation can definitely be done, but it's not going to really pick up until it's it's not ridiculously expensive.
Yeah. I guess I'm seeing the price barrier, but I guess maybe I just am not. I'm not a true believer. I think even with the price barrier off, I just haven't. It's not enough for me.
I see it huge for markets for like people that. So I think for people like us, Scott, that primarily play like FPSs, I don't think we'll ever see that crowd really like widely adopt VR unless it's cheap enough. But as far as people that play RPGs where they devote their time into getting involved and melded with this like character that they make in these MMOs or something like that, I could see that. Or people that play sim games, like that's gonna be huge for sim games. Like
that's true.
Like racing games, like that's what I want to do. Is I want to play a set of Corsa or something like with a VR headset and some headphones and just like be in the cockpit of a F1 car or something like that. That'd be sick to me. And that might be worth it, but not $800 worth it. Like if I had a $400 headset for what the Vive offered me or something like that, I would pick it up right away and I'd probably game on it regularly. Yeah. But the price of entry right now is just too much. But I think it's just because where you're coming from and what kind of games you play. I don't see like people like us regularly.
Yeah, I think that's a good. I didn't really consider. You're right. Like you're saying, the kind of gamer you are, that will be somewhat dependent. That will be dependent on if you adopt it. I'm sure.
I think that's the thing is like VR is going to require, or at least appears like it's going to require a kind of a different development strategy. And I think when I hear someone talk about like in 5 or 10 years everything will be VR. Like, probably not, because I think the VR experiences that have been really good are ones that lean into what you can do in VR that is not really doable with mouse and keyboard. But it's not like, I don't think people are necessarily going to be playing like League of Legends, or Counter-Strike in VR.
Right. No.
Right, because it's just not, it doesn't improve that specific type of experience. And I think that's why it's like going to be difficult, because if you want to develop a VR game, I think you're going to have to develop a VR game. And I think if you try and do both, if you try and just develop like a PC game that also works in VR, you're probably it's probably not going to be great. And for instance, you look at Superhot just released Superhot VR, and that it's like an actually different game. Obviously it's like kind of, similar to Superhot, but it's not the exact same game. Because they had to adapt certain things for the VR experience. So you look at that and think, okay, there might be, say, a Battlefield type experience that would be cool in VR, but it's not going to be just like straight up Battlefield 1. It would have to be something they tailored and changed in specific ways to make it good on VR. And I think that's going to be a lot of additional cost on the development side.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a chicken and egg problem that, like you're saying, until the cost goes down, it'll continue to be that chicken and egg, because developers aren't going to develop for it unless people own them, and people aren't going to own them if there's nothing to play.
Yeah.
Let me see. Does this analogy make sense? VR is the equivalent of IMAX in the theaters. It's like you would like it kind of tailors, like you could go to the movies and just see your standard movie, or you can pay the extra and do the IMAX 3D or whatever.
I don't think there's an experience you can have in IMAX that you couldn't have just watching like the regular film. Like, IMAX, like, sure, it's visually better, but with VR, that's like a completely different way of playing a game potentially.
I'm just saying it's a premium.
Yeah, you're paying for the premium argument.
Yeah.
But you are paying for a different experience. It's like some IMAX theaters are 8K. You have better sound, stuff like that. It is bigger screens, but it's a premium to have just an extended experience of what you could already do otherwise for much cheaper, right? So
yeah,
I think it'll take, in my opinion, I think it'll probably take some significant non-gaming uses for VR to come out to incentivize. Like, the price is going to have to come down, that's a given. But I think gaming is only going to be one part of what VR is good for. And like I think the only way people are going to buy it is if you can do something else with it. Because I look at that that's like a huge reason to buy a gaming PC, right? Because like you use a PC for a ton of other things. You can buy a more expensive PC that also can play games, but it does other things. Same thing with gaming consoles. Like current gaming consoles, you know, I bought my parents a PS3 a long time ago because they wanted a DVD player. I was like, why don't we just get this? Right? It does the thing you want,
Right.
but also you can play games and stuff. And right now, VR like doesn't really have those other uses. But I think once it does, it'll make a more compelling purchase, you know, where like maybe I'll buy one because there are other things I want to do that aren't games, but yeah, I'll also pick up some games, you know, and I'll give those a try.
Okay. Well, I definitely derailed this a bit, but this was good. This is a good discussion. Now I'm always
you said
to hear what
I
you
mean,
guys
look,
think about
you
VR.
said the next topic is most anticipated games of 2017.
Yeah, true.
And I think
true.
we just talked about like the anticipation of VR. I think that's you know, I have high anticipation for VR like continuing to mature, and 2017 could very well be the year that I purchase a VR headset, right?
Okay.
Like the next iteration of the Oculus or Vive, I think might be good enough that I will want to give it a shot. So I do anticipate VR, you know, getting better and maturing. It's just it didn't get there in 2016. So
right. Well, I mean, speaking of, so one of my most anticipated games in 2017, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which has a whole is being touted as being made for VR, PlayStation VR. So that's a pretty big deal. I don't think I'm not because I'm not going to have a VR setup, but speaking of games that we're excited for in 2017, I know it kind of ties into the whole VR thing because that they're definitely pushing that a bunch. But I'm excited for that game just because it's a first-person Resident Evil, and it seems like it's really going with the fucking like we're out of KD. What Resident Evil did we play together?
Oh my god, we played 6.
God, 6. Like they're getting away. They're getting back into the actual like the game being scary again, which is nice.
Oh yeah. It looks really promising.
Also, on things I'm looking forward to, South Park: The Fractured Butthole. Like that should be good. The first South Park game was just incredibly good, and one of my surprises. I don't think it came out last year. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago that game came out now. But I think I played it this last year and was really, really good. Trying to think what else is coming out. I mean, I don't know. We don't know when Red Dead Redemption. Did they say it's 2016 for Red Dead Redemption?
I think it's 2017.
17? Okay.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, 2017. Yeah, not 2016. God, we're almost done with 2016. So yeah, so obviously Red Dead 2. That's exciting. What about you guys? What are some?
I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward with you know some optimistic apprehension to Quake Champions.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that.
It is. I highly anticipate it, but as we've talked about on this cast, you know, I have some reservations with what I've seen so far, you know, and with their like Champions style thing. I don't know how that'll work out, but I am very much looking forward to that game because I'm a big fan of Quake, and I would love to see a current day Quake game kind of come back to the forefront, especially with Doom. You know, with us seeing Doom this year, like it would be awesome to see Quake see that same style of impact, but on the multiplayer side, right? Doom had a great single player, not a great multiplayer. Quake is a multiplayer game. It's like it is one of the best first person multiplayer shooters of all time. So I really, really hope that they do an awesome job with that, because I would love to have a deathmatch style shooter to hop in, and actually play in populated servers and stuff. Like there just are not that many games outside of your Call of Duties and Battlefields and stuff. There are not that many games where you can just hop into a server that's always populated and enjoy those games. So Quake Champions, I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Katie, Brad, chime in whenever. What do you think?
I kind of have a laundry list. I'm gonna just go
Me
through them
too.
real quick. I think right off the bat, Ukulele by the guys, the old crew from Rare. They're making basically like a new franchise based off of like their experience with like Banjo-Kazooie and stuff like that. But Cuphead, that looks like a good, interesting indie game that we've seen for a few years now. Fractured but Whole by South Park. And then this is actually a PlayStation exclusive, but I'm looking forward to Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes. That looks good.
I don't know how I missed this. I don't know if you're going to say this, Katie, but David Cage's Detroit is coming out in 2017, and I cannot. I am just salivating at streaming that game because David Cage games are the most fun to stream. They're so fucking fun.
That's a game I'd say I'm very excited for, but I'm not very hopeful for. Like,
sure, exactly.
I cannot wait to play that.
Honestly, for me, it would be better if it's a total train wreck because it's so much more fun to play a train wreck with chat than it is to play. And I mean, it's David Cage, so I'm assuming that it will be. I mean, you know, he's improved. He's gotten better. He's gotten, you know, the production value has improved with the scripts and the, you know, the whole convoluted mess of the story. That never improves. So I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing. But who knows?
I kind of stand by Heavy Rain a little bit. I feel like the story there was straightforward. And then Beyond Two Souls, it kind of went further down. And then you're starting to add in, you know, artificial AI.
Yeah, there's like a lot of...
There is so much... This is prime David Cage, like, train wreck material.
It is. He's set up for his best train wreck of all time. And I honestly, and I'm willing to pay money for that. Like, I enjoy the train wreck, I think. So
yeah. More often than not. Yeah.
It's a good time.
But yeah, I've got a few. So I'll go quick here. Kingdom Hearts 2.8 that comes out in January. It's the newest chapter. It's pretty. We're actually only getting a little bit of new content. It's like one level that's kind of like a prequel a little bit to Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, think, you know how Metal Gear Solid 5. No, none of you played it, but they had Ground Zeroes come out, which was like the first mission as like a preview. But then before the full game, it's kind of like what they're doing here. 2.8 is going to have like a prequel chapter that's not going to be in the main game, just to get like a taste of what the combat's going to be. That's coming out. Tales of Berseria. That's the newest Tales game. It's coming out in the US. Can't wait for that. Neo. It's like a samurai Dark Souls. I played the alpha for it. Really promising, really good. You got Nier Automata, newest game from Platinum Games. You got Yoko Taro. He's a visionary for video games. And he's finally getting a competent development team to make his game. And you have beautiful music. And the game looks beautiful, and it's coming to PC. It's in the stars for this to be one of the best games of all time. We got that coming out, and we got Persona 5 finally coming to the US after a lot of delays. I can't wait for that. And then, I ended with Ukulele, but that's already been brought up. But
that's okay. I mentioned a couple that Scott mentioned, I think. So yeah, ukulele looks amazing.
Oh my god, I can't wait. Banjo-Kazooie, that's like so dear to my childhood. And we actually got a release date for Ukulele not too long ago. It got confirmed.
April 11th.
Yes.
I think.
Yes. Yeah.
So
pretty exciting here.
Yeah, platformer. It just should be amazing. I'm so ready. So ready.
Oh yeah. Oh, Ni no Kuni 2, almost forgot. And then Marvel Infinite. That's another good one. Man, 2017.
Wow, did you just have Wikipedia for like 2017?
I did. I just scrolled through and then just started making all tabs. Did. So, you know, stuff like Ni no Kuni 2 and Marvel Infinite aren't really on there yet, so those are ones I'm excited for. You can put out there. Dude, I can't wait. I just want to play them all right now. Come on. 2017, give it to me.
Yeah, so should be a good year for games.
Yeah, I mean, 2016 was a really good year for games. I think maybe not a great year for society in general, but for games, I think can't complain with the quality that's come out of this year.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
So cool. All right, kind of I guess wraps up our little end of the year section. Very much looking forward to stuff in 2017, but I don't have a good segue. We're gonna roll right into the news. There's not a whole lot of news.
Wait! I have a segue.
You have a segue. Okay.
It better be damn good.
You know, 2017 is looking pretty promising. Looking like some excellent games for us to play and some excellent games for some of our favorite content providers to stream for us. Speaking of streaming and our favorite streaming websites, Twitch has announced a couple of new programs they're doing. Take it away, Barn Door. Boom.
Oh, that was
a sexy segue.
Yeah,
wow.
That was not bad. But we are rolling into the news here. This has nothing to do with the year 2017. But our first news story here, because the news is a little bit light as we roll into Christmas, things slow down a little bit. But things did not slow down for Twitch. We had like four different things roll out this past week. But the thing that I think a lot of people were talking about was the launch of an IRL category that is a lot of like social interactive content, vlogging, that sort of thing. It's basically so that people like Scott can stream and talk about things and not have
without having to be in the gaming talk shows or other. I don't know. Sometimes I still like gaming talk shows, but
gaming talk shows also is now just talk shows.
Oh, that's true. You're right. It is just. I didn't even catch that, but I do remember. I think I started typing in gaming, and then it was like talk shows. I was like, oh, look at that. I think it's good. I tweeted a bunch about this when it happened, and I didn't really have any insider information. Like I figured that you guys were working on stuff like this, and from some conversations and stuff I have. But I think it was really good. I mean, obviously stuff like that was already going on, but I think this was, from Twitch's side, acknowledging the lifestyle stuff that already goes on, is good. So I was all for it. I don't know, Katie, any thoughts? Brad?
I think this was I think this is a good early step, because I feel like, as somebody that works for like a YouTube channel and stuff, I feel like the going trend is everything's going live, like no matter what it is, gaming, vlogging, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
We're seeing stuff with like Periscope, Facebook Live, vlogging. I mean, just all this stuff is just going.
Can I just say real quick, speaking of Facebook Live, I got an app update or whatever today, and I go on my Facebook feed, and there's just somebody's fucking one viewer live stream. It's just playing. I didn't click on anything. I'm like, what is this? And I had to I was like, I muted them, but I was like, okay, Facebook, I see. This is, I guess if they're my friend, I have to watch their
They're gonna make
stream.
you care about it.
Yeah, I was just like, never again, Facebook.
I cannot stand the autoplay videos that Facebook always has.
So annoying.
Ugh.
I was like, but yeah, and now it's taken it to the next level. Now it's live, where I'm like, I'm supposed to care about fucking some person on my friends list named Chuck that I haven't talked to in 17 years. It's like, Chuck, I don't give a fuck about you feeding your dog, dude. Like, I mean, and again, I know like it's all subjective, but I was just like, don't autoplay it. Don't just.
Well, I just feel like live content in general though is going to be the future as far as content. And I think Twitch is smart to add basically IRL here. It's inevitable. I mean,
every platform is live. I mean, Instagram, people talk about in chat, has that. Facebook. No, you make a good point.
Yeah, I think
I'm taking my phone to Wendy's.
there are a lot of people that likened this back to like turning back into Justin TV, which I think is actually, like, having worked for the company for multiple years. It's like such a very different environment. That comparison is just not even remotely accurate. Like the world of live streaming is very different than it was when Justin TV was around. And like in some ways Justin TV was maybe just ahead of its time, right? Like it came out in 2007. We're 9 years past that now. And Jesus, I think like this basically came out of the desire for like content creators who primarily do gaming, that like they want to do other stuff too. So it's not that it's not that it was like a decision to turn it back into Justin TV. It was like, no, like the people that are doing gaming, they are also now branching out into other things. Like even if gaming is the primary thing you do, that's not the only thing you do. And as as gamers and esports and everyone, as those people become more legitimate celebrities in their own right, then they're going to want to do more than just like the thing they started with.
Because as far as these personalities go, everyone has something that differentiates themselves, and that can't always be categorized right? I feel like IRL does a good job of like giving people a platform of like, here's how I'm different in some way, and like getting to show that. I feel like that's great for people like yourself, Scott. You know.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, and I've been wanting to, like, I've been seeing, like, when Twitch even, I mean, Brandon hit me up when you guys got the music category back in the day, and it was starting to like become a thing. I mean, it depends on what you're offering as a streamer too. But I mean, I think by and large, if you watch somebody and you're involved in somebody's community, you care about more than just like gaming can be a portion of it, but you're more there for the personality. So people are inherently interested in other things that you're up to, unless, you know, it depends on the stream. Some people are just there if you're a pro gamer, sure, they want to see, you know, you be, you know, I'm not a pro gamer by any means in any game. So that's not, you know, if people are there for that, then they leave very quickly because they realize that's not what they're getting, but they should be there for the personalities. And so I think it makes a lot of sense. And it was nice. Again, I think what I tweeted was like, it's nice for Twitch to be officially acknowledging it with a statement and updating the terms of service and all that kind of stuff, that where like we thought that was what you guys were going to be doing, but it was like nice to have it officially happen. And yeah, like I'm totally for it, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
So I have a question, and Brandon, you can choose not to answer it, and that's perfectly fine. But as far as like,
thank you for your permission.
Well, I know. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm taking the permission back because I have that authority.
Anyways, as far as partnerships go, like, you know, there's obviously some things to consider. Does this change anything as far as like what you guys consider as viable, like, people to partner?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I think there's this will be a learning experience, you know, for Twitch as well as you know, the content creators. So it's more like Scott was saying. It's more just kind of officially acknowledging that this type of content is okay to have on the platform, when previously, you know, it was part of the rules that, you know, you're not allowed to do extended non-gaming content. So I'm looking forward to seeing what people come up with, and if there's if there are new categories that explode of, you know, people doing things that aren't gaming, then we'll react to that stuff. But
I noticed you guys deleted all your rules on nakedness, being naked and twerking. So I'm planning to just do a 24-hour naked twerk. Did I read, or maybe that was not your guys' terms of service? I might have been reading.
I was going to say, yeah, that's that. Didn't see that one in the blog post.
Yeah, but, maybe I just wanted to see what I wanted to see there.
That's the other popular live streaming platform, Chat Roulette.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I just imagine No Sleep TV had a heyday. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah. One thing I'm excited to see is just people, like, I think Pokemon Go, like, I saw a lot of interesting content when Pokemon Go came out, like people getting out in the world, and they were still playing a game, but it was sort of like a hybrid game and IRL type content. And I was glued to a lot of those streams just because of that. So I'm curious to see how people, you know, broadcast, and also part of the announcement was that we'll have mobile broadcasting in the Twitch app at some point here in the near future. So I'm you know, I don't know what people are going to do with that, but it's always exciting to see what people come up with. I think the story of Twitch is that generally we don't know what the community is going to do,
right?
And they sort of teach us what people want to see.
Yeah.
Oh, so Scott, he's saying you have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. He's telling me that my twerk stream could happen. No, I think too, like a lot of I think No Sleep is a perfect example of somebody that really benefits from these kind of changes, because he was already doing a lot of, like, he does, like, you know, like live. He lives in Korea, right?
South Korea.
So like he already does, like, he has already been doing that stuff, but like history, you know, he's just a super entertaining fucking personality. So like he would do gaming and stuff in there, but you're not really in there for that stuff. You're in there for his fucking script and his show, right? So I think like there's a lot of people that already like that on Twitch, and so I think it's good. Yeah. Anyway, I love the whole thing. I mean, and I've been looking forward to this for a while, so I was glad that it happened. So, but yeah, like you said, there were a lot of announcements for Twitch. That's just one of them, I guess, that we're going to talk about. Like I said, Brandon usually fills a document with about 17 to 18 different articles related to Twitch, but we negotiated him down to just one for today.
If there were any week where I could fill this whole section with Twitch news, this would be it. So,
right. Exactly. All right. Well, this next one, Brad, I'm going to let you take the lead on, but this is something right here. Go ahead.
So as you guys know, I'm an avid Rust player, or I used to be. I'm getting back into it. And I think one of the personalities, I guess I'll call him, that got me into it was, of course, Gary Newman. Gary Newman's this developer and owner of Facepunch Studios that develops Rust and other games. But and they're very active on participating with their community, getting feedback, and some would say almost too much. And I think to the point where I don't know if it was yesterday or the other day, but he made a post on Reddit, and it just says, "We need to talk about the situation," and it's a graph of this basically rotation, this clockwork that Facepunch goes through, where basically I'll actually walk you guys through it. So if it starts off, it's a graph, and it starts you off on complain on Reddit, and then it points to either not listening, Facepunch is not professional, or they're taking the wrong direction, and then it goes to next in the flowchart is appeasing devlog. Basically, every week they update the game and they say how they're fixing things that the community is upset about. 2 months go on, big update. The community loves it. 2 months, they play it, they're bored with it, and then they go back to complaining on Reddit. This is all posted by Gary Newman himself. And so this is amazing. But he basically goes and says, we're stuck in a ping pong loop. We release an update. You love it for a month. You get bored. Blame the system. Bitch for a few months. And we release another update. And the same thing happens. And he said that his worry is it's going to be a constant thing. We're not going to hit a point where, don't change anything. Keep it like this because, it might be, they're constantly changing the system because the community doesn't like one thing. And you know what Gary Newman said? He said, if you're bored of the game, just simply stop playing it. But he suggests before you get angry with what I said, consider that, how much entertainment you've got out of this for just $20. But I mean, that's a pretty bold claim, but we all know that Gary Newman does not give a shit. I mean, he wrote a blog post about beating off in VR.
He's pretty unfiltered.
He asked Twitter for medical help on his son. I mean, there's not much that Gary Newman won't go out and just say, I'm gonna say it how it is. But yeah, I mean, there is a thing. I mean, Scott, on the flip side, you talk about this a lot with Counter-Strike and the lack of communication. So, I mean, when you hear this, what do you think?
I mean, there's something super refreshing about this that I really like. Even if I can understand how this would come across, especially, I mean, he's doing this on Reddit, and crybabies and Reddit go together. So I totally understand, and I'm sure it's frustrating where he's coming from, feeling like, they put all this work into this game that's $20, and then people like it for a little bit, and then they start hating on it, and then it just becomes the circle jerk. But yeah, so the refreshing aspect that you're saying, this would be my wet dream to see some kind of honest posts at this level from anybody working on Counter-Strike, at Valve or wherever.
Right.
And obviously, it's a double-edged sword because there's the positive aspect of clearly he's reading all these posts on Reddit, he's engaging with the community. But then on the flip side of it, is it do you get too comfortable? Do you get too is he overstepping his bounds by literally telling people well, if you're bored with it, then just fuck off? I mean,
I think the rest of his post is actually pretty good.
It is good.
That's the one line that someone a news article might rip out of context to make it.
Well,
sound,
it is. It's the headline
to make it sound a little more than it is. But he actually he sort of goes through saying he's not trying to dismiss people's opinions, but I actually think the one line in his post here is actually like really interesting and really spot on. He says, "We have a pretty good idea on how to push forward with Rust, but none of it is going to make the game more appealing to people that have spent their last 1,000 hours hating it." Like that is so perfectly succinct.
Yeah, no, it is refreshing, and I don't have the dog in this fight. I mean, you're somebody, Brad. You've played a shit ton of Rust, so you seem like you're pretty okay. Like, do you see where he's? I mean, you've put more hours than anybody that I ever know into the game. Like, do you think he's coming from a place of? You think he's on the right track?
I mean, I come into this knowing that 1, it's beta. 2, I trust Gary Newman because we've all played some of his games or something he's touched. Like with Gary's mod, if I recall correctly. Like that's Gary Newman there. I mean, like I trust where he's going with this. I trust his team. There's never going to be a perfect game, like in my opinion. So I kind of agree with him here that somebody summed it up too in this response. Don't listen to Reddit. The people who love the component system are busy playing the game. Components are definitely the best part of the 3 systems. He's referring to the in-game system of like how you got items to build or play, the game with. But that he has a point there. Like, he has to just start getting away from the constant bitching of
the loop of negative feedback that never changes.
That never really does him any good. I mean, it is. If it's a glaring issue, I see how it is. But Gary. I will trust that Gary will take this game in a direction where it's fun. And you know what? If it comes to a point where I don't really enjoy it anymore, I'm still going to be okay because, like he said, I only paid $20 for this, and I already have it's one of my most played games ever. So I had my fun time with it. So I stand with him here. I think this is pretty straightforward. I mean, but just. It's always interesting seeing Gary Newman come out of the woodworks just to be like, "Hey, shut the fuck up, internet! I'm here to
Yeah, I mean the fucking. I'm looking at the actual Reddit post right now. The fucking graphic he put up is fucking amazing.
It's gold. I mean, it's gold.
It's really good. It's really good. And on the complaint on Reddit box, it literally has an arrow that says "You are here." that is some roasting right there. But I mean, again, and it's very easy for me. Like, I'm not a game dev. I can only imagine, like, the amount of. It's very easy for us to be out here, and I mean, I'm guilty of that too when it comes to Counter-Strike or whatever else. I'd just be like, how the fuck can these things not be fixed or whatever else? But like, there's a certain level, especially with a game like Rust, and with the community. Like, I'm sure it just. At a certain point, you must be like, I can't. Like, what am I? I mean, he's made a lot of fucking money from Gary's mod in this game and stuff like that. I don't think it's really about the money anymore at this point. But I'm sure there's days where he's just like, what the fuck am I even doing this for these?
Right.
Like, I mean, I can't even imagine spending that much time on something and then just having people be like, it's fucking terrible. Just like no matter what you do, I'm sure eventually you're just like, I can't even imagine.
I mean, creating a flowchart. Like I'm assuming there was like something that really. That
triggered
him. Yeah, that finally hit a nerve for him to kind of sum it up in this post. But I actually appreciate the humor and basically him like telling people that it's okay, like they want feedback, but also they're not going to be able to please everyone, and like it's okay if this isn't the only game you play. Right. Like that sort of exactly. The people. Like, what are they going to do for people that have spent 1,000 hours hating the game and posting about it on Reddit? Like, you've already gotten your $20 worth.
Yeah, I think he did because he could have really just given the 2 middle fingers, and like if he just posted this graphic with a simple, if you don't like this fucking game, and you have 1,000 hours, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, just stop playing it. But he there's enough, like you said, in the post when you read it, and it is logical to the sense of like, we're working on it, like we want the game to improve, but we can't, we have to get out of this fucking constant loop and feedback of how shitty it is from the people that hate the game no matter what we do. So
and I think there are actually, I think there are quite a few games that kind of fall into this category where they are basically like the player base just becomes bored and like starts to complain about things, even though when new features launch, everyone likes it.
Right.
But then like people just, if the game feels stagnant, people start complaining because they're starting to notice little small things here and there. And yeah, it's like that can be a vicious cycle that I'm sure does kind of drain. It like drains your vision to go forward with what you want to, like where you think the game should go, when you see people, complaining about these little things.
And that just made me think, that begs a way deeper question, which we don't really have time right now to get fully into. But like, we talked about this before too, but like this expectation, it's like if you have 1,000 hours in a game where you just do the same thing over and over again, at what point is the person that made that thing for that charged you $20 off the hook? Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's different than something that is like a solo experience that's like a timed experience, whether it's like a single player where it's like, okay, once you finish this, yes, you can have multiplayer and continue to play, but ultimately the main like an Uncharted game where once you finish with the main story, I'm not really going to go back to that. Sure, there's multiplayer, but that's not what I play it for. So like this, it really is interesting, especially, and I think these early access games. So like, yeah, it's great that you can have early access and there can be a solid product behind it, but there's a certain expectation I think that's probably unfair too. It's like you just naturally as a human being, once you do something over and over again, you get tired of it. Like it's just, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like if you've played a game for 1,000, I played Counter-Strike for thousands of hours in total, and yes, I still enjoy it, but I definitely get burnt out and I'll stop playing it and I'll hate it sometimes. I think that's just the normal cycle of like way overindulging something, which I don't think we tend to talk about when it comes to gaming. But like if you binge on a certain franchise or game, there's something that happens in the human psychology where you're going to nitpick it apart, and it eventually you might stop enjoying it. And is there anything inherently wrong with that? Like, are our expectations too high? Like I think it's also fair for him to kind of be like, what do you want me to do?
He also posted like something today about like dream change list. So if you could change anything about the game, what would you do? But this time he set some rules. But I think I've seen this in the CS community too, and this is kind of a nice poke at that. But one of the rules is Gary Newman said, if you post how many hours you've played, you are banned from this sub forever. So
wow.
I feel like there is an entitlement with just because you played a lot of the game, you somehow are more entitled than another person that like maybe just put 5 hours into the game. I feel like, and I feel like that goes for a lot of games like CS too. Like we see that a lot. And
I feel that.
I don't have much to add. Not being a Rust player at all. I mean, I just fucking can't stand gamer entitlement. Like I used to get shit on and like the Dark Souls Reddit because I had less than 500 hours. It's just like it's like if you don't have at least 200 hours, you don't know the game.
500 hours.
That's what
they're like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, they're like, you don't know.
That's hilarious. That's a perfect example though.
Yeah, I actually think the Dark Souls games are another perfect example of that, where these people that have played hundreds of hours are going to have this very different viewpoint. A very different vision for what that game should be, and they probably love that it's hard, and they love the things that are broken because they've figured out ways around it, and like that gets in the way of the kind of that newer experience. The person who doesn't have hundreds of hours playing the game. But yeah, like if you're complaining and you've put in 100+ hours, like there's no room to complain. You've clearly the game was good enough that like it was worthy of your purchase. But again, there is kind of that entitled. I don't know. Yeah, Reddit subreddits have that that reputation.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a feeling.
I know we shit on Reddit a lot. Like, there's a lot. I know we love to shit on Reddit because there are really good. Reddit is basically ruled by, depending on the subreddit that you go to. There's a lot of great subreddits out there, but it's just like humanity. It's just in the sea of humanity. There's a lot of fucking assholes out there, and it's no different. But definitely with the gaming stuff, the fucking elitism is just. I think and I'm guilty of that too, I guess, in certain ways. Like with Counter-Strike, because I was thinking what you were saying, Brad, where it's like I do feel a certain level, like because like people will post on, and there is some truth to it though. In a game like Counter-Strike, like, people that are fucking silvers will post about like, well, I don't understand why this change even matters, and it's like, dude, like, no offense, but you suck at the game, and you don't understand the mechanics.
you've seen the posts where it's like, I'm MG and this is bullshit or something like
exactly,
that. Like,
exactly. And I'm not saying that people can't have an opinion, and it really does depend on the game. But like, and rank doesn't mean everything. And there's people that are just not mechanically as good at a game that can still have an opinion on it. But there is some correlation with like how long you've spent on a game. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be better than somebody else that's picked it up. Some people can pick it up way faster, but it does. Like I think history has to inform a little bit. Especially, I mean, I think Counter-Strike might be a little bit different than a situation like Rust, because Rust is not like a competitive esport. Has never been a competitive esport. Maybe it will be in the future, but like the framing's a little bit different. But like that is interesting to me. That I mean, I understand what he's saying about like don't post your hours because that's the problem with the loop feedback, but I'd be a little salty if Gary Newman was like, I was like, well, dude, I put 2,000 hours in your game. I feel like I know, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I know a few things. Like I like the game. But I get where he's coming from too, where it's like, that's not helpful, but I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, that's really interesting. And, we'll keep an eye. I mean, the last time we talked about it was when they were forcing whatever gender you got on you, right, with the randomization on Steam.
Oh, that's right.
Based on your Steam ID. Yeah.
Another Gary Newman doesn't give a fuck. Like, too bad. You're a woman now, says Gary Newman, and that's what I am. My character is a woman in Rust. So
I own Rust, but I've never installed it. I'll have to turn it on to see what gender I am. Oh baby, do you wanna?
Sure.
Yeah, we need to jump in. I feel like I need to have someone to guide me through it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun messing around with Brad for a little bit. I just don't know, like, if I have, like, I reach a certain point, I just want to instantly, like, be, like, I don't want to do any of the actual work. I just want to be geared and just troll people.
Right. You don't
like,
want
it
to
takes, you have to.
Oh my god.
You have to.
I just remember the sign.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That kills me, dude.
But, all right, let's move on to another piece of news, and then we'll jump into the quick hits. But so Riot has signed a huge deal for new League of Legends, for basically League of Legends to be streaming on some new tech, or not necessarily new tech, but tech that is owned by our very own MLB/Disney. It's called BamTech is the name of the technology, and it's worth over $300 million over the next 6 years. And it's not exclusive. I was checking with Brandon, or we were asking, because I didn't know if this means like they weren't going to be streaming on Twitch. It's in addition to still, I think, streaming in other places. But they're basically going to be using this BamTech technology, which obviously MLB, so baseball in the U.S. But I don't really know. Like, even reading this article, it's hard to tell. Did you guys get a feel for? Obviously, like they're going to be using the tech, but I don't know what they're. Like, where is it going to be broadcast? Like, from their, are they going to do broadcast from their website directly?
Well, it's basically like I think they're contracting BamTech to kind of build an experience. So BamTech does they do Major League Baseball, but also like HBO and WWE. And so, like, they're sort of like a white label, type arrangement for certain things, where they'll create like an app or a platform or whatever that's branded with League of Legends, and probably has like some special features and that sort of stuff. And yeah, I mean, $50 million each year. That's a lot of zeros for League of Legends.
To 2023.
Yeah.
That's a ton of dough.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. Again, I'm over my my League of Legends addiction, but we can't ignore. I mean, I think $50 million, that's about 3 days worth of skin, like a skin sale for Riot. So probably a drop in the bucket for them. But no, actually, but yeah, pretty interesting. So
yeah, definitely a lot of money for for streaming, for like a streaming related contract. And it's probably seems like a big bet. I mean, $50 million a year. They're hoping to monetize and obviously make more than that.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, that's not small potatoes when it comes to trying to make $50 million on LCS content every year. So it'll be interesting to see what they build and how they try to monetize it, because obviously, like, monetization is a big piece of the whole pie.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing here that they don't mention is going to be the international market. Because when I think of HBO and WWE, I just think of like the American, like North American market. But I just feel like Riot has such a international impression on everyone that that I like. To me, I don't really see this affecting my life much. But to like from what I've heard of like people in South Korea or something like this might be huge. Like just for what they could do with this. So they say that they think the timing's right and the advertisers are ready, and I think that's pretty accurate, personally. But.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is they better have a setup with this where I can put on a fucking VR headset and I can be on Summoner's Rift, dude, and I can watch fucking the newest champions alt go down. And I mean, honestly, like I'm kind of joking, but it would be cool. Like that's the kind of stuff with VR that. Again, I don't know if we'll ever. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get there someday. But to have it like to be able to look at games in a different, especially a MOBA like that, and be like, hey, like
you can
put me in Baron Pit during a fight and stuff like that.
Dota,
like
you do that with Dota.
That, yeah,
you can do that with Dota.
Yeah.
Really,
that's kind of cool.
But I actually agree with you. Like that could be an interesting avenue for VR. Like calling back to our VR conversation. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows if that would be a part of this? It sounds. I don't know. It sounds like they think the sky's the limit. So we'll see how it materializes.
Cool. All right. We got 2 quick hits we're going to do here real quick. Brad, hit me with the AMD Zen.
AMD thinks they have something up their sleeves. We're going to see they finally gave Zen a name. It's called Ryzen. But basically we're going to see next quarter an 8-core, 16-thread processor advertised coming out of the box with 3.4 gigahertz. And it's supposed to be up there with like $1,000 Intel CPUs. And we all know here that AMD's market is the affordable, I'm not gonna pump money into Intel's pockets because I simply don't have it. So that's kind of where AMD has put themselves. So we're probably looking at, I'm guessing, like somewhere between a $400 and $600 processor with this. But this is AMD basically saying, hey, we're back in the game. Here we are. They have some other interesting things. Some basically like some new technology that's basically going to predict some calculations to improve performance. Basically mining all your data and what you do every day and stuff like that to kind of improve performance. So that'll be interesting. Other than that, it's just stay tuned. I'm not saying anything really until we see some benchmarks. That's really what it comes down to. Is like once it gets in the hands of reviewers, I'm holding my tongue whether I'm ready to be excited or not.
I mean, like you were saying, no pricing has been announced, but obviously, like you wouldn't expect you don't think they're going to try to compete on the Intel level. Like, well, obviously we have to see performance, so that would be the first thing, but doesn't. Right. I mean, AMD is always stood for value.
Yeah, quote unquote, once we know performance, then we'll know price. I feel like that's. Yeah. But this is also catching up. There's things like AMD has been so out of the game that we haven't seen like PCIe Gen 3, like which Intel has had since I don't know, 4 years ago or something like that. Like it's just basic things, even though nobody's using all the extra bandwidth. Like it's just them catching up. NVMe, SSDs, I mean, just all sorts of stuff that they're finally catching up with. They're ready to re-enter the CPU market.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. If you're waiting to build a PC, Intel supposedly has something up their sleeves as well. So I would be waiting if I were you until.
My only angle for myself was not that I would ever put a filthy AMD CPU in one of my builds. Was like for like depending on what the prices are, like even a streaming rig, right? Like to just build something like that where you don't necessarily have to have a crazy good GPU and just something that could, handle the streaming side. So could be interesting.
Yeah, this should be cheaper. Yeah, I think we are going to see a cheaper high-end CPU here. So, if anything, if you're an Intel fanboy, this should make all you Intel fanboys pretty happy, because this is going to make Intel
stuff
back,
cheaper.
put a fire under their ass, get innovating more, and driving price down and things like that. So,
Yeah.
or performance up. So we'll see.
And apparently,
All right.
Apparently all of these new Ryzen CPUs have neural net prediction.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with basically them somehow mining basically what you're going to be doing to somehow improve performance and predict what you're going to do next. So
yeah, a lot of these slides.
I've seen how this goes with precogs and Tom Cruise, dude. Okay, in Minority Report, and I don't need the computer knowing that I'm going to go to reddit.com/rule34. Okay, like I get it. All right, I've gone there before. All right, AMD, get out of my life. Sorry, that's just getting personal, but
these slides, like a lot of the language is very hand wavy to me. I think you're right. We got to see how the actual benchmarks shake out.
Yeah,
but I do hope
that's always the thing.
It would be great if AMD, kind of came into the current gen and actually competed with Intel, or attempted to, on the mid to high end. Because that'll only make Intel processors better. So here's hoping. I think it comes out in Q1. Yeah.
Yeah, it should. We should see something at CES. That's a rumor. I'm surprised they spelled platform right in their press conference. They misspelled platform for everyone to see, so that was pretty nifty. It's like,
it's well polished.
You get what you pay for, I guess, is what AMD is saying. So,
speaking of what you paid for, now would you say this AMD processor is going to cost a reasonable amount of money, right? You'd say when this releases.
I feel a pun coming because from his face already.
You could probably get this much money if you own a business like Nintendo, and you sold something called an NES Mini, which brings us to our next
the most
quick hit.
Segue.
Wow, that was. I thought that was so much smoother going down.
No,
what was that?
Oh god.
Go ahead, Katie. Take it. You already took it.
All right. So the NES Mini has sold almost as many systems as the Wii U has in 1 month as the Wii U has in 6 months. So coming in, it looks like the Classic Mini NES, sold 196,000 units in November, and the Wii U, which is going to be put out of production pretty soon, sold just 220,000 units. So no real news for this, but just to show the success of the NES Mini, and how, because these things are going out of stock immediately. I follow like a few trackers on Twitter saying as soon as like they go in stock, but it's like I'm talking minutes after they're available, they're sold out. The demand for these is just insane.
Well, it's like crazy. It's like, hey, Nintendo, you give this value proposition, as Brandon always. God, I hate that I stole value proposition from Brandon this cast because he hasn't said it yet. But you've got this VP, if you will, of hey, a great value, a great value, and a great product. Wow, it's crazy how it flies off the shelves. I'm not saying that the Wii U or whatever isn't an okay system, but like the price of this thing is so cheap, it's like a no-brainer.
As it turns out, people want the new thing that is neat and reasonably priced, and maybe don't want the old thing as much. That is like, maybe a little expensive for what it offers, and will soon be replaced. Makes sense. Capitalism at work.
Yeah. Crazy.
There you go.
Really killing it.
All right.
We're into the new releases. Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's time to go over new releases. Okay, now that was fire.
I might kill myself.
All right. So not a lot of new releases this week. Towards the end of the year, not a lot of people pumping out games. But we do have Halo Wars Definitive Edition coming out on December 20th, which is going to be coming out on PC as well as Xbox One. which is like a polished version. Now,
this is amazing every time. I'm just like so amazed that Microsoft sends out these press copies and this many people have ratings enabled that they can just give the game 5 stars already. Like 54 people gave it 5 stars. First of all, I'm surprised that many people are on the Microsoft store. Second of all,
well, they're bots. Let's be real. No one believes that they're actually real people.
Now, if you go on the Microsoft Store and you'd like to buy Halo Wars Definitive Edition, you'll notice that it tells you available only as part of a bundle.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only way you can get Halo Wars Definitive Edition is if you pre-order Halo Wars 2 Ultimate Edition, retailing at $79.99. We've seen a business practice like this earlier this year. Very sad to see it up here again. Really hope this does not become a trend. I guess it sucks. But yeah, if you're dying to play Halo Wars Remastered on PC, then drop $80 on Halo Wars 2 coming out in February, and you'll get access to that.
Wait, so how do 1,000 people already have Halo Wars 2 Ultimate Edition?
Yeah, what the hell is happening? Something doesn't add up.
Release date of February 16th, 2017. Currently a 4-star rating with almost 1,200 reviews.
Wow.
Where are these people getting this game?
Crazy,
2 months early.
These are, dude. You know what? It's time fucking travelers, dude. This is proof that people from 2017 are playing and loving this game, and they just want to review it. Makes a lot of sense.
Wow.
Almost seems like a massive loophole that they could close if they wanted to, but somehow it seems to be serving Microsoft very well to leave it open, to allow ratings and reviews based off of hype. Seems to really be helping them out.
Even on the release date,
thinking emote.
It launches at 9 p.m. They know the time it launches, and people were still able to get their hands on it 2 months early.
Oh man, it's good stuff.
Damn. You know what it is? It's that Japanese version that people have got imported. So you know. But next up, finally, if you're into the Telltale Walking Dead games, now I know Telltale is a trigger word for a few people in this podcast right now, but Walking Dead.
I'm getting better. 3, I'm just trying not to react to it. Sorry, I did. I reacted. Go ahead.
Walking Dead: A New Frontier, which is essentially Walking Dead Season 3. It's going to see the return of Clementine and a bunch of new characters that people care far less about. That comes out on December 20th, and the first 2 episodes are actually releasing at the same time. Not sure what the business strategy was behind this, but you're going to have a lot of content to play day 1, hopefully if the episodes are, typical episode length. But yeah, so I'm excited to see where the story goes, Season 2. Without spoiling too much, I left it at quite a cliffhanger. Well,
I haven't played it.
Depends on... I will not spoil it, but it was good stuff.
Sorry, this won't be a spoiler, but I just got wind that they might be using the same exact terrible fucking engine they've been using in every Telltale game for the last 8 years. Sorry if that's a spoiler.
Right.
Sorry if that's a spoiler, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of.
I know that people are really like maybe they're going to actually, work on the tech a little bit and make it.
Oh, I can't wait to boot up the game. See what kind of engine we're working with, baby.
You know what? This is what I'm going to tell Telltale. Come back to me when you're in Unreal 4, okay? When you're running on Unreal 4, then we'll talk.
And every game isn't cell shaded.
Exactly.
Every single game.
It's almost like the cell shading is a quick and easy fix for putting out tons of episodes and tons of assets at the same time.
Yeah. You know what I think they could do? What I feel Telltale could really profit from is like because we've seen this engine for so long, it seems pretty basic, all these different choices, like a Telltale creator, like you give like basically, what would that be called, like an SDK for like
kind of like I know what you're saying though. Basically just let you plug in your stuff, and I mean I think the fear that people would make stuff far greater than anything that they've ever pumped out. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But, that's an idea. Like I could see what you're saying.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But last on the list, I didn't have this one. If someone else wants to take it away.
I added it because it was worth mentioning, in my opinion. They launched this is Astroneer, a game of aerospace industry and interplanetary exploration. Basically, if you were burned by No Man's Sky, you should check this out. But
Oh,
it went into early access last week, and I didn't know this was happening. I've been following this for a long time. It just looks really fun. It looks like if you're into exploring, you're into crafting, you're into just good multiplayer games with your friends. This looks like a cheap and awesome game to play, and the soundtrack sounds great too, from what I've heard of it.
okay.
But it's worth mentioning. It went into early access on the 16th. $20 right now. I don't know if it's going to get more expensive, but from what I've heard so far, well, it's bestseller on Steam right now, so it's
Really?
number one. It's number one, yeah. So
One of the
they have more reviews than it's more reviews than Halo Wars or whatever it was on the Microsoft Store. So it's a smash hit. So
One of the reviews says, "No Man's Sky, except the Steam videos are the actual game."
Savage.
but yeah, I'll be
looks
picking
pretty
this
cool.
up. I'll be picking it up. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm pretty bummed. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I would have never soiled my new release section with an early access game, but thanks for putting that on there. It looks pretty interesting. But
Yeah, let's just get another game about sexualizing a jar of mayo. But yeah,
he got me. He got me.
All
yeah.
right.
Let's not soil this sacred place. So
Yeah.
This is hallowed ground here. This new release section. Don't
It's
fuck it.
untouchable. All right, let's get some new releases going.
All right.
Fucking fewer questions, not really new releases. I'm just so dead set on them. That section.
It's all good. Thank you,
Someone's
KD,
done.
and Brad, for your contribution. We are now going to go to our viewer questions here. Our first one comes from Dex Direct, who asks us, if you were to give this year a title, what would it be? It's a great
MAGA.
question. Oh my God. Wow, that came to you very quickly.
sorry, man.
All right. Make America great again.
Just like Kanye, I had to keep it in until now, and then
I knew it. I had you pegged as a huge MAGA fan.
Thinking this is fine. All of America is sitting inside a house on fire.
That's really good. That's really
that
good.
is good.
I was thinking, to quote the H3H3 meme, it's time to stop. Like
Ooh.
directing that to 2016, because
good.
that's how I felt the whole year. I think this is fine is also pretty accurate, but where it's just like, I mean, really, like every month as this year it was just like it's getting more and more batshit insane. So I just wish 2016. I mean, we're almost it's gonna have to stop soon. We're pretty close. Though I wouldn't be surprised if some weird shit happened where it's like the end of 2016 is getting extended for another 4 weeks or so, to keep the insanity going. Who knows what's going to happen? The Earth will stop rotating or something.
The groundhog actually started fucking himself. So
So we cannot advance this
calendar.
at all. Oh man. What about you guys? Or what about you, Brandon? Sorry. Any thoughts?
Harambe.
Oh, look how close you got to the microphone. Also good. Also a good one.
Rip. If it wasn't for Hillary, he'd be alive.
Wow.
Dang.
Oh man.
Quite a statement.
She
God.
called the shots, man. That's what
did.
the news on Facebook told me.
Dude, listen,
So
man.
BuzzFeed said.
All I gotta say is Pizzagate. Okay, get on there.
Pizza game.
Open your eyes, sheeple. Okay, so good question by Dex. I like that. This next one is an email question from Seth, and he writes, "Ho ho ho, KBMOD podcast. Since the Christmas and winter holiday season approaches, I wanted to share with you and the audience a weird Christmas tradition my family has. We call it the Santa head, a white elephant gift we pass along to one another. It all started at a craft fair where my family won this modern art take on Christmas in a raffle. Because of how weird it is, it ended up becoming our gag gift on the holidays, where our only rule was no regifting. It eventually grew to become our version of Rickrolling, where we tried the most elaborate and trollish ways to pass along to pass it along to another family member beyond Christmas. That's pretty cool. I like that. I was wondering if you had similarly weird or unusual Christmas, birthday, or other holiday traditions. Thank you, and have a hashtag blessed holiday time with friends, family, and loved ones, and fellow memers. Seth, a.k.a. I am the Seth. So, good question. Nice tradition. I like that. Having to become increasingly creative so that you could make someone think you weren't giving them the Santa head.
He also linked a picture of the Santa head.
Oh, he did. Yes, he did.
Oh, okay.
Oh my! What on earth?
What the fuck is this? Is this out of Alien Covenant or?
Oh, that is. Oh yeah, that is just not. You can clear
see the Gorilla Glue still on there.
You can tell that thing.
Oh,
no.
Why does it have flowers on it?
I don't try to save this with flowers.
What on earth?
Oh wow.
Well, some wreaths have it. That's a plastic wreath. It's literally like a mold.
I'm just gonna say now, like that. Somebody in the existence of that Santa head, somebody has ejaculated on top of that thing. There's just zero chance in my mind.
That's the tradition. They all pass it around.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I'm not saying
God.
Seth's family. I'm just saying prior to him even getting it, like this thing has been through the ringer. This thing has been on the street. I mean, you got it from a fair, so.
Oh God, what kind of fair?
I'm trying to think if my family has any like weird Christmas or birthday traditions. I mean, not like this, but
yeah, I don't think of anything like that. I know something. It's not really, I wouldn't really say it's even unusual. I just know every Christmas Eve we always go to like
Chinese. Let me guess.
Yeah,
that's Easter actually, but close.
Oh, wow.
We no, we always go to the same house, the same relative's house every like Christmas Eve to like celebrate, and it's just general consensus. It's a pretty because my dad was part of 13 children, so it's a pretty huge family. It's all meeting together, and every single time things start to die down, they have this amazing chessboard. This really luxury, this really beautiful thing. And my brother and I always stop and say, listen, it's that time of year. Time to see who's better. And like this is like two people that rarely play chess or anything like that. So we always just see, who's the dominant brother that year. So yeah, it's just having a chance to grace that beautiful chessboard with our unworthy, disgusting fingers is just, that's a real Christmas miracle right there. Amen.
Oh, I didn't realize we were going into a prayer, but yes. Did you just say amen to the story? I'm shook. Okay. That made me think. Okay, that is a good story. So for Thanksgiving, this is my mom's side of the family. We always go to my aunt's house, and we have this tradition where by the end of the night, at least everyone in my mom's side of the family, minus my parents, is pretty much super drunk at this point, and we play gestures as a family, and it's just, I don't know if you ever played gestures. It's where you get the cards and you have to act out like what it tells you to do, but without using words, and people guess, and anyway, it's a team thing. People get really competitive, and with the alcohol, it really really takes it takes it to another level, and so that's always fun. That's always a good time.
Oh, I have seen this. Yes.
Yeah.
Once they saw the board or whatever, the little, I've seen this.
Yeah.
That reminds me of catchphrase. I'm pretty sure there was one birthday party we had one year that we had like a solid 3-hour game of catchphrase going, and like for some reason we just couldn't stop. Like it was hilarious. But
catchphrase.
Yeah, we play Go ahead.
No, I don't mean charades. It's called gestures. Okay, don't come at me with charades. Okay, it's branded as gestures.
Get that white girl game out of here.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
People
but,
are trying to these youngins in chat. These 13-year-olds trying to come at me with charades. Sorry.
They probably play the game where you hold the tablet over your head. No.
That's not on my iPhone.
I have a new app. Do any of you guys play White Elephant or like have a Secret Santa thing going at your at Christmas parties? Because we always have a White Elephant every year. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, White Elephant. A lot of people do White Elephant. I don't. I never really got too involved in those. Some people get I don't like how into people. Okay, this is maybe just like I
Go
get
for it.
annoyed at how into people get like to the white elephant thing, where it's just like, oh, it's a really good gift.
Yeah.
I don't derive any pleasure from that, but maybe I'm just again, maybe it's my Grinch side coming out.
I'm just not that much
prefer
fun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
I really prefer when it's not like a serious gift. It's not like serious gifts, but I was going to go to a Christmas party a few days ago, but it got like postponed because of like how the roads are around Indiana right now. It's pretty crazy. But it's like the most troll white elephant gifts. So I think mine, like, there are two parts of it, and I'm trying to think of like, I'm still trying to find the thing that people are actually going to want, but I have something. But I have like Donnie McClurkin Psalms, hymns, and gospel, like a DVD mixed in with like something that people actually want. So, like, when it's something that you can like, when the goal is to make other people laugh with like what they get, like one person spent $5 on boxes, just duct tape them all together. Yeah, that's where like I really prefer white elephant. But when people are like, it's very easy to make enemies. When
yeah, I think a lot of that
the $20 Walmart gift card,
and then people are savage. People don't care. People will like a lot of the white elephants I've been to, where you can choose another person's gift or whatever. As you go down the line,
you steal
like
it, yeah.
you steal it. Like people just are savages. Like where somebody will get like a fucking juicer, like a legitimately like over the top gift. And then somebody like gets a $5 gift card to Five Below or some shit, and they're like, "Yes, I'm the last. I'm taking that juicer." And the person's like, "Please don't," and they still take it. And you're like, "That is a legitimate like that friendship is now strained." Like I've seen that, so maybe I'm more reacting to like the awkward social shit that happens where I'm like, people don't care. People like.
Or like when this one girl, like there's this girl one time, she got like a $15 Starbucks gift card, and she was like, she opened that and she was super pumped, like she was really excited, and then next turn it gets stolen, and she like was borderline breaking down in tears, like begging him not to steal it, and he was like, "Give me the gift card, just give me the gift card." And then we're just like, oh no.
I feel like no one ends up happy with white elephant exchanges. Like it becomes I mean, people min-max that, and then they get one person ends up happy, and then everyone hates that person.
Yeah, and then you have Grandpa bringing a selfie stick to the white elephant. Like, who are you trying to make happy with that? That's what I got stuck with.
Damn,
Thank you. And then I remember there was one guy playing it, and his white elephant gift was his novel that he just finished. That, I mean, honestly, it was a very bad book. And he was just like, "Why is nobody stealing my book, man? It was a good book. I just finished it." And it's like one person who got it. They were obviously not thrilled about it. It was just
I was gonna say with the selfie stick though, like just wait till you're just waist deep in some nice punanner, dude, and you're gonna be able to get a nice shot of your conquest. So you're gonna thank your grandpa later.
All right, I'll remember that. I'll just send him the
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say punanner. I don't know. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, the conquest. God.
All
I'll
right.
have to send him the picture too. Like.
Yeah, send it to
Thanks,
him and be
Grandpa.
like, "Thanks for the fucking selfie stick, dude." And he'll probably, I mean, I don't know your grandfather, but we'll see how he reacts.
You can capture a lot of people in the range of that selfie stick.
Yeah, it's got serious. You can get a lot in that shot.
That's a lot of conquest.
A lot of conquest. So when you're having those Tinder orgies, you can add all the girls in the frame or guys, whatever. Okay.
All right.
All right. We're gonna move on to the next question.
Thank you for the question.
Oh boy. All right. Our last question comes from Blossom TV. What's up, Blossom? He says, "Favorite food to eat when hungover." It's a good question.
Mexican food, burritos.
Denny's. Anything from Denny's.
Yeah, Denny's is great hangover food. That is true.
Denny's is actually great anytime after you've had alcohol. So like during the drunken phase, when the drunken phase is over and you're hungover, like it's good anytime after you've had alcohol. Period.
Yeah,
I would say up to say 24 hours after imbibing.
Now,
If we're talking specific like food though, like food, like I was thinking like is he talking like, I don't know, pizza, hamburger, hangover? I don't know, what's like, do you guys have a go-to? I mean, like you said, anything from Denny's, I guess, if you go to a place, but do you have a certain food that you will like gravitate towards if you've had some alcohol?
Nothing specifically, I feel like anything meat really helps for some reason. I remember. Now, not saying that I've been hungover before, but
I was just going to say, hold on. This is
myself being a young man, I can definitely speak what I would eat in a situation where I was hungover.
Yeah, and, purely hypothetical.
Purely hypothetical situation. Sure. It was a party that, due to unfortunate circumstances, my mom had to pick me up from. And so I'm leaving the party.
Wait, hold on. And, I want to hear more about this hypothetical situation.
Yeah. So we're at the party, and I might have had a bit more of. Now it was this hypothetically delicious strawberry cream tequila, and with like whipped cream on top. This wasn't a dream of mine, but yeah, it just came to me in a dream. It was delicious, and so in this dream, and they had these pulled pork sandwiches there too. It was a very vivid dream, and I kept, yeah, they were just delicious, and I didn't get like. Hypothetically, I didn't get too wasted, but when I get the text that my mom was outside in the dream, I'm leaving, and I realize I'm looking at myself in third person, and I see myself with my jacket halfway on, kind of stumbling a bit, eating a pulled pork sandwich, walking towards the car. I'm like, God, I look like such a degenerate right now. Yeah. And like, thankfully, in the dream, there was no noticeable stench or anything, you know. No slurred speech. In all my dreams, I have excellent speaking and grammar, of course.
Of course.
But again, purely hypothetical situation, everybody.
Interesting.
Strawberry cream tequila.
It was excellent.
That's so specific for a dream. That's just weird.
It is. I don't know. I think I might have dreamt that up. I'll have to invent that. I'll have to get that branded.
I have been told to bring this up, but Timmy of Timmy at the Q, aka Sean, aka he who will not be named because he won't choose his real name, turned me on when we were at TwitchCon to country fried steak from Denny's. Again, this is going back to Denny's. The country fried steak from Denny's.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
My last Denny's trip.
No, you did it. Yes, you did it.
I got.
Did you get the full order though?
I got at 2:30 in the morning at Denny's. I decided to try country fried steak and eggs, and it was incredible.
Dude, it is so get this. Timmy turned me onto it for one of the first nights that we were hungover, and then I ate it 3 times I ate it every morning because I was hungover it really was like, I was like, I have to give it to Timmy. It's so fucking good, and it's such a good hangover food. It's like it's my go-to. It would be my go-to now.
I think it's good because it's like it's filling. It's got got protein. Like it's good for repairing the night.
It is. Yeah. Definitely the MVP if you're near Denny's, definitely get it. All right, Brad, did you chime in yet?
Yeah, I was first to go. I said like Mexican food or burritos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's mine.
All right, calm down.
I just want to.
No one has a good transition here.
I was waiting for a good
segue
because he's had so many good ones. I'm just waiting for him.
So speaking of the end of our viewer questions, that has brought us to the end of our podcast and the end.
Speaking of the end of our viewer questions, is your segue just saying? Speaking of being at the end of something, we're at the end of the podcast.
Listen, what was our alternative? Pure silence. Something had to be done.
The alternative is just a soft transition. Nothing topical.
Listen,
you go low risk.
Every time I go for a transition, I'm taking a gamble, and I'd rather go big or go home. And sometimes it's like what just happened. Sometimes it's a train wreck.
All right, look,
But,
let's give it a shot. Something like, I don't know about favorite foods to eat when hungover, but I always end up eating too much. And just like our podcast review section this week, while sometimes I'm starving for podcast reviews, this week it's a bounty. I'm so full. I can hardly even eat them all.
Failing this transition.
Oh, I swear I've made a segue of this caliber, and I've been ridiculed.
Just the
Thanks.
2017 is going to be my year for segues. I'm going to come back.
That was pretty good. That was pretty legit.
That was well done.
I enjoyed that.
But yes, we have three. We have
Three reviews.
Podcast reviews this week. This is what I don't understand. Can we just talk about? We went like a month without any reviews, and then all of a sudden, 3 reviews. Do you understand that like you have the best chance of being on the cast when you're the only review in a given week? Like you want to time it. If you see that we just got one, like hold on to it if it's a real gem. I'm just saying, this is how I would do it.
I agree.
We did.
I don't
we
know.
have 3 reviews this week, so I appreciate those reviews.
This first review. All right. I have to say, I'm going to spoil this a little bit to say that the Hodes family is very heavily represented in these 3 reviews, and that's exciting to see the Hodes family still giving back to this community. But the first review is titled "Inspiring and Impressive."
Oh no!
Inspiring, IMSPIRING, and of course, impressive with an IN as opposed to an M. And it's a 5-star review, of course, and it's by Charlie Hodes. KBMOD has been making podcasts great again since 2011. Someday they'll actually achieve this. We are all rooting for you and love the cut of your jib. Wow.
Nice.
Beautiful. Charlie Hodes, thank you. And you know what? I don't know if that was was that our mission? I don't remember us ever saying that we were trying to make podcasts great again, but
I think he's
just inferring.
I think Charlie's just saying that we've been making podcasts great again since 2011. But then I don't understand. He says someday they'll actually achieve this because he just said in the prior sentence that we've been achieving it since 2011.
That's true. That is a little.
That is contradictory.
It's sort of It's like maybe he meant to like give us a backhanded compliment, but you know what? We'll take it. We'll take it. I know it's good to hear that the Hodes family is rooting for us. Appreciate that.
Sorry, this next review, I'm already laughing. I haven't even started it.
You're reading too far ahead.
I'm reading too far ahead. Sorry. All right. This next review is called Sad News, and it is by Ivana Jerkinoff. Ivana Jerkinoff. And it says, "It has been a tough winter for the Hodes. A deadly sickness, a spread through the family. This is the reason why we have not had a chance to listen to our family's favorite pastime, the KBMOD podcast. The plague seems to aggressively target our short and wide bodies with ease. I hope we last into the new year." The plague seems to aggressively target our short and wide bodies. I don't know why that is part of the description, but it really adds to it. It really adds to it.
Are you sure you don't know why that's part of the description?
Well, no, I do know why. What am I talking about? I do know why. I totally forgot about the origin. Yes, wide does make a lot of sense, Brandon. It makes a lot of sense.
They're short and wide bodies.
That's
It is. It's interesting that all the Hodes family all has a similar physical profile, short and wide bodies.
Yes. And if you're new to this podcast or just started listening recently, it may not be immediately apparent, but you could probably go back in some previous episodes and there might be some background on why that is. But that is terrible news from Ivana Jerkidov. It would be terrible if the whole Hodes family got wiped out from this illness, this plague.
Oh man.
You can only put we can only keep them in our thoughts and prayers and hope that they power through. And would you believe we have a triple threat? We have one more review from another member of the Hodes family.
Oh my god!
Can you believe this?
Are you kidding me?
The triple threat, and this one, this is entitled "What a Winner of a Cast" by Samal, because it's definitely not Samuel. Samal C. Hodes. And this is the body of the review. Me, big fan, KBMOD podcast. Me listen every time I want hear fat neck beard and little girl with come on. Talk of Me listen every time I want hear fat neckbeard and little girl with glasses talk about the bang bang shooty games and shiny talk boxes me and Seaster make in factory. Cheer me to KB Mod, I love you. Also glad to hear Overwatch is game of year. Oh,
little girl with glasses. I wonder who he's
talking
about.
I don't, I wear glasses. He did mention a fat neckbeard though, so I think he may have already covered me. So
yeah, I'm actually not sure which is which.
Yeah, it's a little hard to know. Oh boy. Wow. This is what I mean. Like we go, but you're right, Brandon. We have these weeks of just famine, of nothing. And then we get three, any of these reviews pretty much by themselves would have gotten on here.
Yeah, well, it's what I bet what happened. I mean, given the similar theme that runs through these three reviews, is I'm guessing that one of them listened to the last podcast, and they sat down the rest of the family, and they said, "Look, we've been putting it off, right? We need to go ahead and write our review." And
right.
So it sounds like, but you know what? I don't know if these are all from the same part of the Hodes family, because Ivana's review here sounds like it's been a tough winter, and maybe Samal works in a factory. That sounds like maybe they know each other, but Charlie Hodes, he seems like he's doing okay. Like he doesn't seem like he's had a tough winter.
No.
So I don't know.
Crazy. Well.
Oh man.
So wow, that was needed though. We definitely needed a week with some strong reviews. So thanks to the Hodes family for all of their support and kind words over the years that we've been doing this podcast. You guys really bring a lot of joy and laughter into our lives. So thank you. And if you want to leave a review yourself, sign up with an iTunes account. And even if you're not a member of the Hodes family, that is not required to leave a review. It may seem like it after this week, but it is not a requirement. You can just tell us what you think of the podcast, maybe share what's going on in your life. Just make sure you give us 5 stars, because that is the rating we deserve. If it's not a 5-star rating, well, come on, it's not going to be read. So, and it's not worth leaving it if it's not 5 stars, because you're just wrong. So, I think that's going to conclude episode 260 and our last podcast before the end of the year, guys. I think we're saying goodbye to 2016. Katie's Den, do you have any words? Anything?
Any final thoughts?
Any final thoughts?
Me Scott, me fat, I fuck my cat.
God damn it, that's spam. Could never. Oh my god.
Amen.
Amen. Brandon, anything to say before we do our sign off? Any thoughts?
Yeah, 2017 will be cool.
Okay. All right. Brad? I think he's going for a true pregnant pause here.
I don't know, man. Check, shit. No, I got nothing.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's honest. And I've really got nothing to say. Like I said, this year cannot end.
I've got nothing to say. Like I said.
Okay, let's not examine that too closely. Yeah, let's not examine that too closely. But if that doesn't say that this year needs to end, statements like that, I don't know what does. Of course, kbmod.com. Check out reviews, previews, build guides, all that stuff. Yes. Go ahead.
Check out my mixtape.
Okay, that's it. You can follow KBMOD Gaming on Twitter at KBMOD Gaming. Katie Zen is at KatieZen18. Brandon is at Volition VOL1TION. You can follow Brad at Hutchison15 or at Z. Oh my God, it's Hutch on Twitter as well. He uses both accounts. I am at APL Fisher, and we won't see you next week, but we may see you in the new year. We're still trying to figure that out for sure. We're still in that planning stage. We might have 2 weeks off. We might only have 1 week off. We will let you know. Stay tuned to the KBMOD Gaming Twitter for that. And but yeah, it's been a fun year of cast, and been fun doing it with these gentlemen. And we'll see you in the new year.
Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, because by the time we come back, both of those things will have passed.
Exactly.
So, hope you have a nice time with family, or like Scott said at the beginning, if you don't believe in Christmas, then just hope things are going all right for you. Hope you have a nice couple weeks here in December.
Enjoy posting on r/atheism, and make sure to tip Fedora. All right. See you guys later. Farewell.
Brandon, I think we've been good this year. I want you to give us the yata.
Oh,
Our way out.
I like this.
I don't know if I can do that.
No.
Oh, come on.
You have this year. You can.
You got it. Just high pitched.
Wouldn't we want to start 2017 with something new? Like 2016 it's to cap off the year. Why would we cap off the year with something different? Bang.
No, I think this would be. No, I agree with Katie. I think this is the send off that this fucking year needs.
We've been building up to this pivotal moment.
Yeah, this is
where
big.
Brandon says yata or he doesn't.
I think he can do it. Let's give it a second. All right. I'm gonna stop talking and.
Yata.